Let the chaos reign.
Chaos Reign presents Jesus Loved Whites and Looked at Blacks as the Devil. Broadcast October the 6th, 2019.
Jesus Christ is here.
Introducing the Jesus Christ action figure with walk-on-water action.
Fuck Jesus. Fuck Jesus. Fuck Jesus. Those of you who continue to hold on to Jesus or Yeshua, a fictional cartoon character who never existed, felt fear in your heart and spine when you heard fuck Jesus. This shows the depth of your enslavement. An English word attached to a fictional character struck fear inside of you. You still have a deeply seated, insane endearment to a fake God, make-believe cartoon character that was manufactured by the whites and their offspring, our enemies. A character that was and is designed by our enemies to control our spirit, our very thinking, our intentions, and our actions. Obviously, based on your automatic negative and cowardly reaction, your spirit continues to be controlled, to be dominated by the whites and their offspring to the point that your physiological processes are affected. Your heart sunk and fluttered because of your insane belief in this fake character I cursed. Some of you who claim to be black nationalists and revolutionaries were scared when you heard fuck Jesus, fuck Yeshua. You claim to have rejected this fictional character in public, but inside you shake and shiver at the thought of this character being cursed. You still fear this cartoon character. Some of you are foolishly offended. Would you be offended if I said fuck Santa Claus, fuck the Tooth Fairy? No, because you don't believe in Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy, but you believe in the make-believe character Jesus, a character that is just as fake and absolutely no different than Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy. Some of you foolishly believe that it is disrespectful to curse a make-believe character. You're hurt, you're dismayed, you're in pain. Wake up. Stop being goddess-damned and God-damned willing slaves, unconsciously perpetuating your own spiritual and cultural enslavement. Jesus never existed. Yeshua never existed. Esau never existed. Yeshua ben Pandera never existed. The mention of the name Jesus or Yeshua or Esau as though this character is real is what should make every Afurakani, Afurai Kaitni individual feel disrespected. Jesus, Yeshua, or Esau are not real. These creatures are the result of the Achiwadye Fo, the whites and their offspring, spirits of disorder, taking perverted fragments of writings and practices from Afurakanu, Afurai Kaitnu, in ancient Knesset and Kemet, ancient Nubia and Egypt, and applying these perverted fragments of our culture to sculptures of white males. These white male sculptures were then presented to us as symbols of God. When some of us rejected the white male statues of this fake God, black and brown statues were made of this fake God. Yet even though the black and brown statues were made of the fake God, they were and are still statues of a fake God. Those of you who believe that Jesus or Yeshua was black are equally as insane as those who believe this character was white. You are just as foolish as one who would reject the personhood and idea of Santa Claus, yet who would embrace Santa Claus as real as soon as white people manufactured a black Santa Claus statue. The time has come for you to take responsibility for yourselves as adults and stop behaving as gullible children. Study your ancestral culture and embrace Nokwade, embrace truth, and reject the lies. Fuck Allah, fuck Muhammad, fuck Bilal. None of these characters existed. They are fictional. You willing slaves who believe that you are enlightened because you believe in a manufactured Arabian character, a a fake Arabian god, and a mythical Ethiopian slave are just as insane and hypocritical as you recognize the so-called black Christians to be. As so-called Muslims, your spirits are just as enslaved, for you believe in these characters for one reason and one reason alone. White people told you to believe in them. Period. You are ready, like the willing slaves you are, to risk your life and give your life to defend a make-believe Arabian cartoon character called Muhammad, sold to you as a prophet, and a make-believe Arab god called Allah, who is non-existent. Pseudo-black nationalists, foolishly calling themselves Moors, Sufis, and others, claim allegiance to a mythical character named Bilal, not realizing that the whites stuck this character into their myth in order to brainwash immature blacks to embrace the fake religion of Islam. Study your ancestral culture and embrace Noquade, embrace truth, and reject the lies. Fuck Yahweh, fuck Jehovah, fuck Jah, fuck Moses, fuck Abraham, fuck Jacob. All of these characters are fictional. Enslaved Afurakanu, Afurai Kaiti search through pages and pages of perverse writing, believing that they are divinely revealed scriptures in order to establish an identity for yourself that is non-existent. You are not Hebrews. There is no such thing as a Hebrew. There was no such individual as Eber. There was no Exodus. You have enshrined within your consciousness the most ridiculous of lies, a cultural identity that never existed. You are so enslaved that you would consider this reality to be blasphemous. You are so blind that you do not realize that it is impossible for a non-existent character and a make-believe God to be blasphemed. Fuck David. Fuck Solomon. Fuck Sheba. Fuck Menelik. These characters are fictional. The Achiwadiewo, the whites and their offspring, marveled at the fact that enslaved Afurakani, Afurai Kaiti people go out of their way to identify with anyone and anything else but Afurakani, Afurai Kaiti people. All the Achiwadiewo need to do is to present you with fictional characters, and you will attempt to trace your bloodline back to these fictional characters. Wake up. Would you attempt to trace your bloodline back to Kris Kringle, Santa Claus, Barney, Mickey Mouse? There is no difference.
The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
In the world where there's crime, corruption, violence, rape, murder, theft, and all forms of atrocities that plague the world in which we live in today, what you're witnessing, we're living in a state of chaos, and it'll take a greater or much extremer chaos to restore the order in which the world we live in today. Good evening, black people. This is Chaos Gary. And tonight, my advisement for tonight's show: if you have children, anybody under the age of 15 years old, please put them in bed now. I'll give you a minute before I start the festivities. Or actually, before I start with my little dissertation, and mind you, I'm gonna go in. Yes, I have to go in. I have to go. And mind you, like I said, this is on parental advisory, so you are been warned. There's gonna be language that's gonna be unsuitable for people tonight, and there's gonna be things I might not like. But nonetheless, it has to be said. But before we start, I'd like everybody to go to talkrosolutions.com. There you see the 3-point plan for Black empowerment, Black achievement. And under the 3-point plan, you'll see a list of Black established banks located here in the United States. Some in the Midwest, some down south, you know. You'll find if you're living around those regions, there is a Black established bank where you could start putting your money into these institutions, so we could start, having group economics and start, moving our money so the money could stay in some parts of our community. So some of those Black banks are there for that sole purpose. So if you're in town, any city, see if you're near a Black bank near you. And the website on Talk Real Solutions will help facilitate the location of these banks. Also on the website, you will see the latest articles, news, and events that's on the website, which you can also read and look. And also on the Talk Real Solutions, there is a donation tab where you can donate whatever possible that you see the show is worth. You could donate into the website as well. Also, you can also find this episode and many others on Talk Real Solutions on YouTube as well. You can type up Talk Real Solutions. You'll see that lion representing Africa as the main logo of Talk Real Solutions. It's not hard to see. Okay. And through that, you will find every episode, including Chaos Reigns episodes on here, ABC. I believe Howard now does shows here, so you can find some of his episodes. And, all from, if you missed this show, you can catch up onto the, YouTube page to find and listen into any previous recordings you missed. Mind you, some of these shows can be lengthy, so, always keep in mind when you go into the YouTube channel, just scroll down and find, the recent show that was uploaded and, go watch on, or actually listen into what was discussed. Also, as you know, show T.R.S is mostly aired on the average 6 to 7 days a week. And the Thursday is mostly the piece with Tyron Thompson and his assistant will go over articles, which we call TRS News, and that really goes into what's going on, current events. All is being read throughout not only articles but websites, so people can know what's going on. The news show that comes on every Thursday at 9 or 9:30 p.m. displays more of that information. So tune in on Thursday, because anything you miss that, if you didn't watch TV or anything, usually TRS News is probably the best suit to catch up on current events, like any other outlet. So be on the lookout. Actually, no, don't be on the lookout, but it's there. So, just tune in every Thursday. And the number to call in for tonight's show is 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411#. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411#. Now, let me get myself situated. As you know, tonight's subject is titled Chaos Reign presents Jesus Loves Whites and Looks at Blacks as the Devil. Now, that's kind of pushing and kind of hard for people to really understand, to say, what? Jesus only looks at what we call the Caucasoid as the God, or look at to love him, but looks at the African male and female as the devil? Say it ain't so, Chaos. Say it ain't so. Well, listen, you bitches. Yes, it is true. It is true. As much time no one's going to tell you the honest truth, I'm going to have to tell you. I'm going to go in. All you no good soft-ass niggas tonight. Now, and the reason for this, because there's something that has always been consistent with us throughout the decades, hell, even centuries. I find that when it comes to any issues that plagues the African community, we have a tendency to not resolve our own problems, not only in-house, but globally outside here. And what is evident how the world sees black people as a whole, they see black people as a whole as not only cowards, but pussies. And the biggest of all is the black man. Yes. Not only the black woman, but we're going for the sake of conversation, we're going to say us men today. Men, yes, we are. And not only we drop the ball, but we are shunned and spit on and looked at as lesser than throughout the world. Now, we could always say that many things play to make this reality with the help of media, propaganda, push the agenda that, black people look at lesser than. They're criminals. They're heathens. They're hooligans. They're very sex crazed. All the above that you see that they quote-unquote label not just African Americans here in America, but just globally, what they see black people as entirely. But when it comes to even the push propaganda of how we view ourselves and how the side views us, one thing is consistent with what we have continued to do is that when it comes to us as a collective, when we do things in a fucked up way in regards to theft, violence, we, at the end of the day, we will inflict that same energy, not all, but just enough, on each other with no hesitation. Easy. We do it. And you could constantly know people live in the communities. You see it all the time. But when it comes to people outside, that's not part of the community, that's not part of race. Let's say they do it to us. Okay. That same energy miraculously dissipates. It's like something just switched in the Negro psyche. And he gets so passive, so happy, so docile and afraid that he becomes a pussy and just allows what to somebody else that's not part of his race do to him that what his brother and sister do and let it off the hook. Hell, we even go as far as we reward the so-called non-black person in their attack and possibly the killing, destruction of black people. We shake their hands. We hug them. You didn't get me? We hug them. Hell, we might blow some kisses. And if you play your cards right, you might get some dish of food from a Negro. But the phenomenon and mentality or the mind of the Negro today is very interesting. Now, might say what caused this in a second. But let's say, for the sake of conversation, because we're going to stay on this type of talking point, that one thing I've known evident that plays this the most, that's been consistent that why we behave in this passive role, is for this fucking Christianity. This fucking fake Jesus Christ. This fucking fake Allah. This fucking fake Balaam. That's why I have played Crazy Raw early on their intro of this show. All these religions that black people fall under. One thing is evident with these religions. You black man, black woman, when you take this religion, you become very much like a child, a very soft puppy, docile, all that stuff, all the above. you have a sense of morality with this religion. But if your opponent, your opposition, he or she takes on the same religion, and they gain power, dominance, and function properly in society, where it's a free-for-all, and they could exude their degenerate behaviors, their savage behaviors, not only amongst their own people, but to black people, melanin, dark-skinned people as well, with impunity. And I always question, why is this? At much time in my life, I see some things in my life which sometimes I don't appreciate, I don't agree. But one thing is evident when it comes to this religion, and I know a lot of people on TRS, I understand why they now succumb to the atheism, because it is one form, and I don't agree with it, because like all other weapons that's created by the enemy, these labels, but I'll say one thing is evident. They'll tell you, say, fuck off with your religion. And I'm not down with your religion. Because I know I take this religion, I become like you. A soft, docile Negro. I would sit there, believe in a fake cartoon characters that's going to come to the sky and fix my problems. No, I have the ability, not the potential, but the ability to fix them myself. That's how I see. That's how I see myself. And this is talking about the atheism people, why they succumb to atheism. Hold up. And because of their understanding, and most people that are atheists, I would say on the record, some have read the book, that the religion they follow, some, not all. And some might have came to realization that the same God that they were worshiping, that was indoctrinating them for such a long time, has not worked. So when people, and not all, but enough people amongst our race start to get the picture, they find, or they take a journey to find answers. Now, as y'all know, we had a person, Mr. Black Jesus Minister, here on a previous show, and they up here having these discussions about this fake-ass Jesus, this whitewash of a Jesus Christ, saying this is a black Jesus, and say that every person that not succumbing and accepting this cartoon character Jesus as black, you're full of yourself. And tell us to do not worship nothing that doesn't look like you, which I agree. But here's the biggest problem. That motherfucker never existed. That motherfucker never existed at all. So no matter how you paint this fictional character, this homosexual character, this faggot, he never existed. He don't exist at all. But you can't tell the average Christian this, because the average Christian today, they function in society, in their life, for beliefs that because life might be good or bad to them, there's some mystical, unseen being, which is mostly the image of their oppressor, which is Caucasian, European man, is going to look down upon him and have mercy on him and try to get him through his average day. And notice that that same image or that energy that you worship only puts you more in the hole. It does not really fix your problems. It does not liberate. And hell, it doesn't make you function properly in society when shit like this happens to you. Not only to the next person or kin of your race, but someone that's not part of your race, do you not only wrong, but just mess with you and F you up. Like I said before, like the title, Jesus loves whites and looks at you blacks as the devil. I'm not lying on that, because on the average, the biggest reason why black people still perpetuate and act the way they do towards each other, because in their heart they look at and see themselves as the devil. That same fake red homosexual with pitchfork picking you from the underworld, while they so-called say you will burn in the eternal flame. And when you tell these people, say, have you ever seen a spirit burn? I should ask these dumb fuckers. No. But you believe your spirit will burn in hell. But you never ask the question, okay, so how does this people that preaches to you that you're going to hell, have they been to hell? Have they been to heaven? Because the only really know is you have to sit there and take your own life to see what will happen. Oh, no. A lot of people not going to do that shit. They're not going to do that shit at all. They're not that stupid. But at the end of the day, wait. All right. Let me just do this. But like I said, overall, when you look at yourself as a lesser being, the only thing you could hang up that means whatever you were born into the society, in your heart, you feel the so-called make-believe creator made a mistake and made you come on this planet as a black person. And i.e., black is bad, black is evil, black should not exist, all that stuff. So you perpetuate the same sick behavior in your actual life, where you work, where you function, play, take exercise, sports, all that. You look at yourself as a reflection, as something of evil. And the only thing what you do in regards that you have this certain notion that you're evil, you do everything possible to change it. Now, what are the ways we would do to change it? Well, there are many methods. Now, because we have technology and we have advanced surgery, you will see people, most people that's mentally rich, will go and get their skin completely bleached out to be almost white looking. Oh, but it gets nicer. They can also now go and get their features changed. You hear stories of people that have money, mostly celebrities, or maybe some black people that make a good livable wage or making good money in their work or wherever they're doing. They go under a knife and get their face mutilated, like cutting their broad nose, making the nose thin. They might even go as far as maybe changing the shape of their lips. And here's a bonus. If you're a woman, you might go as far as maybe dissecting your booty. It could be, but all things that I'm saying, these are things that most of our people, not a lot, but just not many, but just enough, will take the necessary steps to fix themselves. And what I mean fix, because when you look at, if you already have a notion that you are bad, you're evil, and also because you're black, you will do everything possible to correct this. You will not cuss the creation. And I find interesting, a lot of black people that are Christians will not sit there cuss God and say, why me? But you don't really hear much of that out their word. You know why? Because they don't have the balls to say, tell the so-called fake God, fake Jesus, say, fuck you, Jesus, you made me what I am. I'm cursed because you made me lesser, so I cannot function in society, because the people that run society, I do not look like. So now my plight here in the West or anywhere globally, I am looked at, shamed at, and looked down upon, and looked at as something lesser than evil for my abuse, my subjugation. Not only physically, but systematically. And that's what Negroes are thinking today. That's what they're feeling in their hearts. So instead of cussing the creator or all that stuff, they go in and make the change because they feel in their hearts that they have to correct it. It's not Jesus' power to correct, or so-called the God, wherever you want to make believe they believe in, to change it or, cuss them out. They go out their way and physically change it. But that is just what is already going on and what is going to continue, what is even to come down the line. Another thing, I've noticed, and I remember watching a videotape maybe 3 years ago, maybe 4, of The Streets of New York by Mr. Salnetta. He had 3 posters hung up against the wall. And he told every person that walked past him on the streets of Harlem, which one is the thing that helped inspire your life, or your hero, or etc. You see the picture in the middle, Jesus Christ, which is the European-looking Jesus Christ, no matter if he's black, painted, or whatever. In the middle, you see Marcus Garvey on the left-hand side, and you see Malcolm X on the right side. Did you know throughout that whole video clip, and I think that the video length was like around an hour long, maybe less than an hour, out of the percent of people that pick 2 people that existed that we've seen in our lifetime, or we heard of, or we got actual document records that exist. More than half. Actually, I would say, and I'm being nice, 70%. And this is why I can remember now, so don't quote me wrong, people. They picked the fake Jesus Christ over the 2 people that did exist and did something for African people. And that test was a testament to show where not only your allegiance is, but who you really look to and worship, to see that had a more prevalent to not only yourself, but that made a simple and significant change in the black race. Over 70% of people, 1 or 2 Africans that came by, and then, obviously they're going to pick the goddamn fake Jesus Christ. And, Africa has a different problem in themselves. But here in America, but most people that were born and descendants here in America picked that Jesus Christ before anything else. And it baffles me. No, it didn't baffle me. It was surprising years ago when I saw that. And not surprised. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. There's no way in hell, in the time we live in today, that people feel that they get some out of this. That now we look at the 21st century, and that we're not in the generation or the first 20 years of the 21st century to always project where are we going with this as people. I've been hearing for some time now that young people are starting to wake up and starting to draw away from these fake cartoon religions, both Christ, Allah, Bilal, even some Rastafarian nonsense, draw away from that too. But I have to think differently. And this is me. I could be wrong because we have over 7 billion people on this earth. More than half is black people. That the major religion that holds the mindset of people is, by roughly average over 85 to almost 90%, Christianity. Holds black people in a spell mentally to make them very dumb and docile to others, or look at themselves as the greatest evil, as devils. This is the greatest trick bag that's been played amongst black people of all times. And you hear always the old quotation or saying, one of the greatest weapons the devil has played that he never existed. Now that's a very deep message. I don't know if I said it right, but that's what the message said. That you don't know who really is evil. Y'all should know already because y'all live around the evil every day. Not just the typical black people, but people that put things in plans, policy, all this worldwide. They don't look like you. But you damn sure give your energy and time and your submission to people that don't look like you to control your ass. In all 9 areas. It's not going to change. Your subjugation here in the West, called America, will not change in 2019 and will not change 20 years and maybe 40 years down the line. Whether we see how America is going to look in the next decade or two, that most black people will not get it. And I know most people, because to be honest with you, with the thing with the with that case with that bitch and the parents that was hugging, kissing the bitch, it was telling. The judge, of all people, go down with her spell book, which we call the Bible. She holds and crests the book, puts it on her lap, and touched her and said, "Will you pray with me as I put you for many years in jail?" Only in America, in the court system, in history, you will see such bullshit like this. Everywhere else, you will not see something like this exist. Outside this world, it's worse. It's not anything greater. And the reason why I say it's worse is because outside America, if people really travel, you see the same game being played. Black people hate each other. They fight amongst each other. Hell, they might even go as far as kill each other. But when it comes to other foreigners that come in that look like their oppressor or look like Jesus Christ, they, for some reason, get very so passive, so friendly, so happy, so shaken, shake their hand, hugging, crying. This is a very wicked spell that black people are under right now. And we are living in very much dangerous times as a collective, not just here in America, but as a collective. A lot of people say things happen to black people in America ain't enough and some happens, oh well. No, you have to look at yourself as a collective because it's a reflection of us worldwide. And they always do these terrorist attacks to black people, and they always want to see where is the mindset of this Negro woman and this Negro male, the one that's supposed to impose environment and play as that protection piece. Where you at, Negro? You are nowhere. And I can prove you were nowhere when other brothers and sisters mention, when we talk about issues, about systematic issues, which is not going to go away, it's always going to be here. You get in your feelings, you get butthurt, you be trying to say it's in the past, get over it and all that stuff. But when they talk about other races of people in regards to that bitch, now it becomes a very much greater problem. And hypothetically, what I mean is this, that you don't talk about certain things, systematic things that happen to you or what caused it, and for other people that's amongst your race. Because some of them either they don't want to hear it or they don't want enough to hear about it. And you better not talk about the European woman or that Caucasoid woman, the bitch that they love, that most men, not all but quite enough brothers, would die and love to go in bed with. I should call you racial slurs and eventually might possibly kill you. You're fine with that. Matter of fact, since I'm talking about it, I think, this is just me, a lot of black brothers don't mind if they have intercourse with a Caucasoid woman, or what they call the Becky, and she does what she has been doing in history towards them. They have no problem with that. They're fine with that. But imagine it was one of their own women, let's say, did the same thing this Becky did. It would be a fit. Should be called a bitch. Should be label everything and be called everything from the, what's the word? Called in all sorts of derogatory names beside the good name of the Lord, whatever you want to call it, towards her. But when it comes to this non-black woman, this bitch, niggas just have a switch. So it makes me wonder, not only if the representation of who is really beautiful and feminine is not black, but the Caucasoid woman is the so-called black man's kryptonite, especially in America. And outside America, same thing. Because she, like the European man, is second to the look, what we call God. They look at these people as gods. I mean, it's funny to find that most black sisters don't like their opposition or their, what they call their competitor, the Caucasoid woman or Asian woman, whatever you want to call it. But to find some of them that sit there when she gets into a fucked up situation, you see them turn so sweet and docile. They'll sit there, look at her, hug her, caress her dead hair. Yes, her dead hair, yes. And let's hope it don't smell like dog. You know what I'm saying? And, most of them will probably take some proper condition, wash it off, but who knows? They will sit there, play with it. But when it comes to their own sisters in the same situation, it's like they will say in their mind, well, bitch, I don't have to do with that, bitch. You're on your own, bitch. There's not really a cohesive collective when it comes to us as people when we have our issues amongst the collective. We always find some fault and wrong, and once we find some fault and wrong, we will not deal with that black person ever again. It's not only going in personal when we deal with them in like friendship or relationship-wise, but also in business. If you do somebody wrong in a black-owned business, they will not spend your money with them again. But they're sure if they got fucked up in Eurocentric or white established business, they'll cuss and go in their mouth, but they'll go back again and spend their money again. Why? Because you submit your will to these other people with no impunity. You will not sit there, bite the hand with fee, and not only you won't bite the hand with fee, but you won't have the balls to sit there and say, I will not spend money on your establishment because you misabuse me, treat and abuse me. Look at the Asian nail and other salons is a good representation of that. Somebody hell you could let somebody beat your ass with a broom or some other weapon in their establishment, and you go back and go spend your money again like a good ass slave. Like the quote from the Jews said, black people are like liquid money. They just run. They just run. It's like ATM machine. The money just spits out. That's what they view black people in America. So, people will ask me, chaos, what is the really and truly solution to all this? If people ask me a solution, then you already have lost the rate, because there are so many solutions in place for the African people here and globally to what they could do to solve the little minor problems and eventually solve the bigger problems. But the problem is, if you already look at yourself as lesser than and want to be something that you're not, and go as far as destroy yourself because you look at yourself as a representation of the devil, I have no answer for you. And the reason I have no answer for you because at the end of the day, you already look at that you should never have been existing in the first place. So the only thing you could do is, either you make the change to assimilate the best you can in society, or, you just commit your own self-annihilation and suicide. And normally, on the average, most black people in this country, they gone through very worse. And you see, we still standing here. But other race people, if they suffer the same thing we gone through, they've been gone already. Okay? It'd been a wrap. Because there's no way hell a race of people that takes about pressure, abuse, systematically, physically, and all that stuff, and still be around today. The only reason why we're still around is because black people still procreate with each other at a certain percentage rate. But that might soon change in the coming decades. The way how the minds are set up for a lot of people. The docility, the submissive. All what you see above. Some of our children that's adults have not put down religion as fast than the elders have in the past. I remember when Lamb had the same discussion with these people on T.R.S. And he always talking about what the roles of other men, what they should be doing. A lot of men have dropped the ball, and I have to agree on this. And the reason why we really dropped the ball is because in our hearts, we feel we have arrived and made it. So there's no need to continue to push on and fight what is really necessary for our own self-preservation and survival. Why bother? Because now that you're integrated into a society, still not looked at as a human at the end of the day, but nonetheless, you're integrated. Now you can sit there, eat at any establishment you want, drink. Hell, you could probably get employment in certain establishments if they hire you, which that is also privatized, most business, but we're not going to talk about it tonight. Also, you could also screw and have sex with any race person you want. Most of the brothers took that ball and rolled with that. And as you can see, for the past 54 years, that's what I've seen, and that's what has been really what's been going on for decades. And I don't see no proper fixing this. And to be honest with you, I don't think there is nothing really fixing this, because these people have created a perfect slave, if I like to call it like that. And what I mean a perfect slave, they create a being that's able to, you can get everything out of him or her and don't demand nothing, and expect a very much submissive and acceptance to all forms of abuse, and still be able to, I guess, sustain himself in the soil that was built and constructed by black people. One thing I would say, I give credit to the European, that we don't give these people credit. They have mastered the art of psychology and controlling you mentally. Screw all the physicality that black people have in their disposal. But once they conquer what's in your head, now anything they do in regards to sustain themselves is absolute. Matter of fact, it's a guarantee now. They have to worry about, losing any grip of power or losing anything in regards of other races of people. And we must understand, in the world we live in as men, you live in a competitive world, in which your opposition does play dirty. But he has to worry about that, because you already convince yourself that you take yourself out the game from the start. You're not willing to build nothing. Hell, you're not even willing to fight for your own survival. So why bother? All he gonna do is when people talk about they want the reparations. And it's funny, have you noticed that reparations, there's not much talk about that after the so-called other people, quote unquote, in the LGBT community got so-called little check, which is not really reparations, it's like a tax-exempt tax write-off check they got from marriage. I'm not hearing nothing much about ADOS. Have y'all noticed that? I could be wrong. When y'all call them, please correct me. But that's where it is. That's where it's at right now. Because they know that as much as you beg some, what repercussions you going to put to these people say, okay, if we don't give it to you, then what? They know that black people not going to do nothing now because they're going to sit there, put their head down their head, bow their head, and go their ass back home. And why I say this, I'm telling you straight out of my mouth why I'm bold to tell y'all that, is because it's simple. You have not proven what will you do if you don't get what you want. The whole world operates by reward and consequence. If you look at European history, and they taught this in school, not all the information, but totally enough, that how they got what they wanted, they got this by rape, plunder, village, and violence. And he knows that before he can be violent with you, he has to get in your head first. Because you know you have the potential to fight back and overcome him, regardless of any weapon he has and all that stuff. So he has to get at that brain, that head first, before anything else. And once it gets to your head, now anything else he do is a guarantee. It's like money in the bank. It's money in the bank. The number to call in for tonight's show is 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411#. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411#. Tonight's subject, Chaos Rain presents Jesus Loves Whites and Looks at Blacks as the Devil. Let me check. Here's the call. I'm not going to go on. I'm talking right now. Okay. So, now me saying all this, and I think I clear certain things. Maybe some things are all over the place, but this is a general rant. People are going to have to take it as is and make sense out of this. But, like I said before, that the religion that black people follow is the same religion that's going to probably, I would say, eliminate more than, let's say, if they're trying to get rid of, if the world population is 7 billion right now, to cut it down more than half, you got to have certain people destroy themselves, and you destroy them physically and systematically at the same time. You can accomplish this if you get people to stop to be very much be confused and worship false religions, and eventually they'll solely be self-destructive in themselves. That's what you're seeing right now amongst black people globally. You're not seeing it in like serious mass, the effects of it, but it is there, and it's already here, and it's going to continue moving forward in time. And the funny thing about all this is that the only reason, like I said before, why there's still black people that's descended slaves here, because, you know, we have not made a conscious decision as collectives to say we're just going to erase our genetics completely. Let the black men, not all, but just enough, have already taken that step. So now the next step is to get this black woman, the same black bitch that a lot of these dudes be complaining about, saying, you know, I don't want you, you're ugly, you accept it, go find some else. But when this woman finds some else, you niggas complain. So I was wondering if it's just about sex or it's control, which y'all ask. You can answer that question to me. I like to hear this shit. And really, by definition, most of them, because most of the brothers don't have no control, no power, and we're not organized as men, which is the most weakness. Actually, it's the greatest weakness the black men have right now, in the 21st century right now, is he going to be willing to organize himself? Because with just you alone or little, you get nothing done. If you organize just a little bit, you might get something done. But if you organize a lot, and you don't have to really come in all course, but if you have to understand and plan what you want and initiate it, you will get a lot done. And this, I think, was it Palmatory? Kumar, wherever they are, said this. They're right about saying that, because the thing that's the most deadliest blow that's going to happen to the rest of black men globally is how well he can organize himself to get himself out of the situation. We cannot depend on women. Our women do play a role because we need their assistance, and then because it's going to take both men and women to get things done. But in regards to men, other groups of men, as much times people don't know it, they are organized. They see their environment changing because some of them, where they're imposing that, now so they got to organize even tighter to what it's going to be to come in the next coming years. And I always question to the black male or the black man, are you willing to be organized to do what is necessary right, to what is eventually going to come down the line? Screw what's going to happen decades now. You worry about what you could do now and what you're going to have to accomplish, not only by yourself but as a collective with other black men for the next couple of years, maybe a decade or two, if possible, if you have organized. Because, like we said, the only way that's going to really change or fix this for black people, not just America but globally, because Africa's going to feel it too, to a part. Maybe some of the islands will feel it too, to a part, is that there's going to be a serious, what we call, economic maybe collapse. Or it could be worse. Who knows? But when things get very rough, it's going to show how well we could survive this. That's what is to come. Because throughout the history, we have gone through worse. And I agree with other brothers say that we went through much worse than this. And yes, we did. But what's going to happen down the pipe is going to be a real testament of how strong this American Negro and Negro woman is going to be. How well we're going to survive what is going to be coming down the line in time. And it's going to show, if anything, at the end of when books are going to be right about black people, not only in America but globally, if there's still a good percent of us, which is going to be some still numbers of black people going to be around for the century, but how much we're going to be around in numbers is always questionable because we do not seek ourselves to self-preservate, both physically, mentally, and we can say systematically. Because following these religions will get you, and you will be in a state of extinction very soon. Not all, because most black people in the world don't worship these three religions, especially the two ones, Christianity and Islam. And I say this because there is a lot of people that subscribe to the other religion and think that they're safe. No, you're not safe. No. You're just even more docile, just anything else. The only difference is you wearing a bow tie. And we all know the history of the Nation of Islam towards black people. I ain't going to go into that right now because that's not the point. I'm only going into this Christian thing because this is the more deadliest of all religions that hold our people. Islam second. Hebrew Israelites, maybe third or fourth. And all these other religions that black people subscribe to is very deadly to the psyche of you as a black person globally. Because when we talk about making actual moves to take what is rightfully ours and to better ourselves so we don't stay in a more subjugated state or a state where, as a race we could be in danger, we do not do that. You take on the Christianity, it makes you more of a docile slave. Other people that say they're Christians, they actually get in power and they know what to do and they take what is theirs. So don't not be fooled that because you worship the same God as this same person that gave you this God, that you gain something. No, you gain nothing. Only thing you gain is how well you could bend over and get screwed in your ass. How well you could be submissive. And that word submissive is being used very loosely, to be honest with you. I know that me and Lamb were talking about that on the last show. A lot of people had a problem with that. But, on the average, like I said before, most people, especially men, we submit our will every day. We submit our will to other races of men, no problem. So there's no difference in regards how we view each other in this plight towards, actually correcting the situation we face as a people towards country in regards if we're going to sustain ourselves, survive in the coming decades. I hear even stories about black wealth might be expunged or gone in 40-some years. I hear a lot of things. And these are warning signs that's projecting what is potentially going to happen. But there's not enough remedies or actual cures for the solution. And like I said, I'm at some point, what I'm saying, most of our people don't care about solutions. At times in Talk Road Solutions, I gave some solutions to certain shows I'd done for the last year, maybe 2. I kind of pulled back because you niggas ain't ready. And you refuse to get ready. So regardless of what people's trying to say to protect you, it can be a waste of time. And I say it can be because not every information is bad. All information is proved to be back to make sure it's factual. But what really black people going to really do, If you notice how you behave towards each other, we don't even have a sensible code how we're going to conduct ourselves when we see each other and how people that's not our race view and see us. We haven't really come to grasp that. A lot of black men are not even organized to really put in business in place for our men, the women, and children. You see black men today create more what we call labels so they could show that they're better than the next man. But no, say you are still a nigger in the society. So the labels you create is irrelevant because anytime you get stopped by that police, he look at you as nigger. Same way. Anytime when other race people criticize or say something about you, they don't look at you as, say, oh, you just a good person. They look at you as nigger same way. You see, one thing, I'll take a quote from Angel Ramirez, that black people feel that they're not a monolith. You might not feel you're not a monolith, but other race people look and view you as a monolith. He is right. Until you get that in your goddamn head, that's when we'll get somewhere. But because the religion trains and pacify you to look at yourself as evil and look at those that don't look at you as gods, there will be no change. Your subjugation is absolute. It's a guarantee, like I told you. So when people say about the religion, I tell people I have a problem with your religion because the religion is going to keep you a slave. End of story. I don't give a fuck if you one day woke up and say you took drugs for 20 years and then you found Jesus and then because Jesus you came. No, you got off of drugs because you got off your ass and started making the change. Dummy. Same thing with the Islam. If you did the same thing and then somebody pushed some little fake Muhammad bullshit to you and it made you stop, no, you got that because somebody showed you the other way and helped you. They don't use the religion to push that so they can make you a willing participant and another slave to another religion. Period. That's why you don't see none of these religions sit there with this give or put money or actual things that's needed for the black community to keep it and sustain itself. And one of the few things that black people, we lack and don't do no more, especially here in this soil we call North America or we call West. We do not food, clothing, and shelter ourselves. And let me even say it further. This is the first time in our existence as a people, and I will say globally, and I'm going to say with conviction, that we don't control those 3 areas properly. And these are the 3 areas you need to not only sustain yourself, but sustain and build a nation. Food, clothing, shelter. If you lack 2 of that 3, you're in trouble. If you lack 3 of the all 3, you are in a process and in a stage of extinction. And what you see now, because all those 3 elements are no longer in our control, what you're seeing the slowly extinction process of the black race. And we're not always going to be extinct just like that. With everything, when people put out to say they want to reduce your numbers, they will make sure they control these 3 areas. And when in time, your numbers will eventually drop. Because one of the few things that black people suffer and they died most, especially in America, is not only abortions. We could talk about the health, and I think murder is the other one. But like I said before, you don't control all 3 of those things that sustain a nation. You're going to fall victim to anybody that's providing it for you. So imagine if the power get cut off tomorrow, or we have a major hurricane or disaster. Black people are fucked the worst. We all seen it in the news. When these serious disasters happen, we get hit hard the worst, and we don't come out of it. Hell, some of us can't financially get ourselves out of a hole because a lot of us don't make enough because the money is mostly not only ours, but only a few people got of so-called the wealth in the society to still sustain themselves. Black people don't got that much wealth or anything like that. Hell, the net worth of most black people in America is not even in the 100,000s. It's like less than $20K. And we all know $20K, you can't sustain yourself, especially if you live in the city. Maybe in the rurals, you might be all right. In the rural areas, you might. But anywhere in these more industrialized, and I could say digital cities, you can't make it with that type of income. It's not possible. Even with 2 people, it's not even sustainable. You can't sustain something like that. And they know this. That's why when people look at, say, when we try and get a footnote in regards to wealth, you're not going to get that here. The only way you might get some, if you're organized, you might get some here. But other than that, if you're still complacent and still operate the way you are, you might not have no choice that if you stay here, something's going to happen to you, or you go somewhere else and try your luck, where there's another population of black people, if the economics is controlled, which is not really controlled. So the only thing you see black people, the decisions they have to make right now in the 21st century, is either they organize themselves or they're going to slowly just die off. And it's going to be pretty much a small percent of us on this earth in the coming century. That's how I see it moving forward. So let me just check some. Yeah, so I'll keep talking. But like I said before, man, I didn't take nicely to really talk about all this. I was going to think of some other topic, possibly, but to be honest with you, this has to be said because really true, you know, I don't talk about this religion much, but I've come to a point to express it because I see where our people are going with this. It's not good, and not only is good, it's dangerous right now. Very dangerous. I could talk about the certain current events of a particular person got killed, but it's irrelevant at this point because you already submit your will to the people. Hell, you will sit there if these people came out of the dirt, smelling and stinky. You will still embrace them, hug them, and you possibly might procreate with them. And there's no way around that because you're mentally ill. Mentally. One thing is clear about other race people. They take pride in self-preservation. We have not gotten that as race people. And with that pride of taking their own hands of self-preservation, the whole goal of the European is to still operate in the world they live in while still continue to feed off you, to still parasite off you. They have to parasite off you because that's how they operate in existence. That's when people look and say, what really innovating, anything sustainable that these people created since they became so-called power? Nothing. They take and they don't give nothing back. And that's natural. And the reason why I say it's natural is because, like anything, like a parasite, you think anything that's sucking your blood should give a portion of your blood back to your bloodstream after they suck all portion of your blood that could possibly make you, in the danger of your body stopping working, your heart stop working on stuff? No. It has to keep sucking in until there's nothing left. And once it sucks to the well is dry, they're on to the next one. That's the role of a parasite. They suck until there's nothing left, and they're on to the next one. That's how they always operate in this society. And that nature will not change. It will not change in America, and it definitely won't change in the islands, and it will definitely not change in Africa. And the next race of people that will take fold after, let's say, this race of people might go on the way out, they're not going to be any nicer to black people. Matter of fact, they're going to probably use the Jesus, or they might use something like Buddha and say that Buddha is this and play the same game all over again to niggas. Because black people have not learned. They have not learned their history properly if they entertain it or want to look at it. Where they sit there, give their will without no question. And one thing that a lot of parents do wrong, either the woman or the man, I think the woman is the teacher at the end of the day, they still push this same religion to their children, their sons and daughters. And the only reason why the church still sustains itself, especially the black church is only sustained by black women. And that's a fact. And because with the power of black women that sustains it, it's going to continue is further decline and sucking up of whatever resources in the black community. Yeah. So, to be honest, y'all, I just don't see nothing really good coming out of it now, and see where we're going to be at in the coming years. I mean, I hear such bad things to come, which is nothing really new. But the people that's going to get hurt the most when things really get really hard economically, either let's say if there's a collapse or anything economic, our people are going to be really screwed, Some of the things now we can't even do without the assistance of these people. Because like I said before, they control mostly 3 areas of sustainability that sustain the nation: food, clothing, shelter. Some of us don't want to grow not even a goddamn fruit, much less a vegetable or anything out of our gardens if we live in certain environments for it. But and we don't even the men don't have some of the necessary skills to even build, let's say, a house or, basic skills. And usually that's really passed down with other men, but most men nowadays, after the 60s, drop the ball and, they like to nest. So they're not really passing much skills to these youth. Me and Lamb talked about that. And he did talk about what everybody else on T.R.S about that. That what is left for the future for a lot of youth that's coming up? The future is very slim right now. In much sense, I don't want the youth to come up as adults in this world and build that they're going to be fine. No, because if we have not prepared them enough, then they're going to be struggling much harder in this world than anybody else that's an older adult. I mean, education could help, but in the times you're in now, if you're not really properly prepared, you're going to be screwed. And like I said before, and I also hear about the automation and all that stuff, which got a lot more people scared. And I say, fear is actually not a problem to a lot of people if you think about it, because now it's going to have to make you to at least do better and grind or create something out of nothing again. Because one thing is known with us as people, we've been very comfortable, maybe too comfortable in this society, you know. Someone's been very lazy and lackadaisical to really do what's really necessary to make the actual change. So, you know, if this system or the society has to put more pressure on black people to start put them in against their back against the wall to really do something, and obviously most black people on the average day will fail that test because they will fold like a child and they'll put themselves in a fetal position when enough pressure is applied to them. It's sad. Yeah. And it's depressing too. Yeah. Yeah, man. But I think some of our people, some, not all, might be fine. But as the majority of us, or the rest of black people, I don't see it. And really, if certain things had to be collapsed for black people to really come to understanding and actually work together, then it might have to happen like that. Because most people nowadays, you only function properly in society when things really hit the fan and your back is against why you have to do something. And that's what we have shown. Actually, that's a track record black people has been showing for the last decade or two. When disastrous things happen to us, you see black people now start to get what they're supposed to be doing. And it's not a good way of doing things, you know. When your back's against the wall, or you react very late. And now said when you react because things are put in place where you have to do something, it's not a good sign. That means now you got to scramble. You got to be a reactionary every time certain things happen to you. You're reacting. And that's how your enemy controls you, because he only controls you by how much pressure he applies to you. And he knows what reaction to do. So he has some contingency plans back up to say, okay, I'm going to hit you with this since you're going to react to this. It's like our people are very predictable in the society. Very predictable. And not only with the case that people didn't talk about with the Amber Geiger or anything that in regards that happens to us. And I think one time me and Maria talked about how, you know, it's funny how most people have energy when non-black people kill us, but they don't have the same energy towards other black people. And this is my thing about that. The reason why black people don't have that same energy towards other black people is because black people don't give a crap. They see themselves as lesser, as evil. So if another black person kills another black person, or wherever terrorist attacks black people do amongst each other, it's justified by other black people because we are looked at as evil, less than, and that when we do ourselves, we're doing ourselves a service. We're removing the evil by taking the evil out, which is ourselves. That's why, you know, when black people see other races of people, especially non-black people, and they do certain things to us, we straighten up very quick and become very passive and embrace them and love them, because we hope that they'll be like Christ, forgive us, and maybe open the gates of heaven once we transition. That's why we accept the black on black or the attacks amongst our each other in the community and don't say nothing, because it became so norm that some black people feel it's a good thing. You hear black people say they don't like it, but in their mind they really do fucking like it. I don't give a fuck what they tell me. Don't tell me no bullshit. Say you don't like the attacks or same, you know, destruction we take on each other on an everyday basis. Black people love it, and not only they love it with a passion, and they know I'm telling the truth, because anything you hate, you do anything possible to make the change. You will stop it in its tracks. But once you love it, you're going to embrace it. You're going to hold it. You're going to cherish it. You're going to coddle it like it's a child. Hell, you might even kiss on it. That's how much love you show when you love something. So one thing I would say, for book readings, And, since I'm talking, I'm going to share a book for most people to sit there and read. Because black people need to read this. They'll understand the different players of what we call law and love and divine hate. And this was one book I don't know if I remember reading this, but this is a book that most people should really look into. And the reason why I say it because, most black people, they're going to have to start reading again. And not just to read this to get knowledge, but to get some clarity and understanding. Because they put too much information in a lot of these books about how society works, how things happen, the way we see it, and we sit there and regurgitate the same talking points, which really truly is a problem because regurgitating the same talking points, that means you're just a parrot, and no one likes a parrot. All right, let me see if this is the book. I think this is the book. Okay. The book is titled Divine Law and Love and Divine Hate. And I'm going to share this in the chat room right now for most people to read for themselves. Okay. And y'all can go read this and get more better clarity between the two energies, or actually because law and love is one and the same, which a lot of people didn't know that. So here you go. For those in the chat room, I'll drop this here. Click the link and read for yourself. All right. The call number for tonight's show is 712-770-4160. Access code 915-41#. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 915-41#. Tonight's subject, Chaos Reign presents Jesus loves whites and looks at blacks as the devil. All right. Yeah, it's been quiet tonight. I expected, because when I talk about their so-called make-believe Jesus, it's going to push a lot of people's nerves. I know when Tyron does it, sometimes when he goes real in on y'all, y'all might call in a little bit and think and have, your disdain for Tyron because obviously, he's an atheist, so that's why you might not say much to him. But, I never subscribe to any of these labels because at the end of the day, I look at life as a journey. Nothing more, nothing less. And to be honest with y'all, I'm at the point where, I think that some people might get out of this mental spell of religion, but I just don't see it. I don't see it at all, because one of the best things religion has done that they forced on us is they made us even better slaves. And that's what it's tended to do. And a lot of people have not drawn out of that slave mentality. They sit there to defend this religion because their grandmas, their mothers, passed down on them. So they feel they have to follow old traditions. But no, as you become adult, you should be in a direction where you should be thinking for yourself. You should not be following other religions or follow what people have been telling you what it is. You have to do the grunt work, what really it is. And I know most people that go to church, the pastor runs his damn mouth telling you, if you not do this, something's going to happen to you. If you don't give you 10%, something's going to happen to you. And I'm saying that in your life, if you're not doing well as a person, you're enriching somebody else's life while depriving yours, you and your children, if you have children. And, you do this because you feel you're going to go to hell. And really, truly, we have to be honest as race people. We are afraid of the unknown, which is so-called the creation of hell, and we're afraid of the so-called Jesus and God, or Jesus Christ, which is European people, white people. Until we get in grips that what we're scared the most, that will be one step of slowly fixing your mental spell. You always got to think, what am I afraid of? What is the fear? That should be the number one question every black person should be asking himself on this line or at home, wherever. What is the greatest fear? And don't tell me about no success, but the real fear. You know? Because you can be successful. You have to work on it. That can be a challenge. But what is your greatest fear? That I want to know. And me, I'm including most of the greatest fear, most black people fear is this European man. And we could say woman, too. They're scared shitless for these people. That's why I wouldn't be surprised when I see them that they don't be like in the old slave days when Caucasoids walk by, they bow their head. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because nothing has changed. Nothing has changed at all. And it won't change. Because you've been conditioned to look at yourself as less than human. And anytime when you destroy yourself, you're doing yourself a service in your mind. And when someone that's not part of race destroys you, they are doing a service for you, and you are comfortable and happy with it. I remember, I'm not sure if I told y'all this story one time, and I'll repeat the same story again. I remember having a conversation with an older woman, and I asked her. No, actually, she told me when George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin, she felt that was a wicked thing, and this man was on the air talking about how God told him to kill Trayvon. And she felt that was very disrespectful, how this man used the Lord's name in vain and saying that God told him to do it. My response to her was, and I was using psychology, mind you, just to play along and see what her response is. I said, well, maybe God did tell Zimmerman to kill Trayvon. Instead of her rebutting and, cussing me out, she took a step back, looked at herself, and thought and thinks that, you might have a point. You might be right. My eyes stretch as far as it goes up in the ceiling. And the reason why I threw that retraction question to play around, see what her mind state was, it was not. Matter of fact, nothing surprised me now today with other people. We are justifying when the European tells us that they kill you because his God tells him that he should do it. On the average, most women and probably some men will sit there and agree with that. And I'm bold-hearted to tell y'all that with a smile on my face. Because, like I said before earlier tonight, you look at yourself as the devil, evil, no good, black is bad, black is evil. So if a white person tells you that God told him to do something and he did it, you will sit there and accept that. And it hurt my heart to find out that response she gave me. But it didn't surprise me now that I'm thinking back on it. Because Jesus is a scapegoat, is a crutch for your subjugation, and you accept it. It keeps you docile, deaf, dumb, and blind, and potentially stupid. But I think I said my piece on here. I said enough. Let me check the lines. If no one has anything to say, I probably will wrap it up. Okay. I guess everybody's listening. So I guess either the message either hit home or it didn't hit. I don't give a fuck. I just want to set my peace. I think I will end tonight's session. Wait, hold on. Let me check the chat room. Nope. 1 second. All right. Brief silence. But as I'm looking through, and since I'm on here, to let people know, I will have Land Movement back on here and before the end of this year. And the subject we're going to talk about is, I'm gonna keep that secret. Y'all know. Stay tuned. Also, as y'all know, I do have a channel called T.R.S Rain. You can subscribe to that on YouTube. Also, you can find me on Twitter, T.R.S Rain 7. And what else? I have other links, but right now I'm going to give it some time before I reveal that. So, for the remainder of this year, like I said, I'm probably going to push out some more material content while doing these shows. And, I'll probably in the next kind of broadcast, I will come up with more guests, hopefully. But I have a caller. Hello?
Yeah, what's up, man? This is the Great Liberator.
Hey, what's up, Mary? What's good?
What's up, man? So what we talking about? Niggas and Jesus juice tonight?
Yeah, man. I had to go in, man. I had to express my feelings toward this spell we call religion, Christianity, and religion, and Muslim, all that. You know what I'm saying? That I come to the conclusion that, when our people follow these religions, it makes us more docile and more a willing slave. But when the European or these other races of people take on this religion, it makes them be dominant, take charge.
Right.
They don't view religion how niggas view religion. You get me?
Yeah, we're the only. Yeah, like a lot of these things are metaphorical, and we're the only group of people who are trying to apply these things literally. I mean, here it is in 2019, the 21st century, and you have Negroes who really expecting a man in the sky to come save them. You see what I'm saying? And this thing where we want to repaint Jesus in blackface as if that makes it any better. You know what I'm saying? Not understanding that these things are metaphor for the phenomenon that's observable in our environment. Like how it the days are longer in the summer and they're shorter in the winter. You see, it's the reason why Resurrection Sunday takes place in spring, when everything springs anew after coming out of winter. You see, like this is what it's all about. You know what I mean? But these things are just metaphors for for sun worship of the sun. So the ancients have long understood the heliocentric nature of our universe. This even speaks to the flat Earth theory. You see that sees the Earth as as a closed environment with a small local sun and moon orbiting around the flat Earth, which flies in the face of everything we know about religion. The origin of religion. Religion is superstition. These people worship the sun because they understood the heliocentric nature of the universe. But what they did, they took this knowledge and they hid it in metaphors in their mystery schools. The truth about the universe, about astronomy and astrology and these different things. You see, and what we've done, we take these things literally too because we've been conditioned and taught to take them literally. You see, because the Europeans adopted a lot of these ideas and concepts, not really understanding them. You see, not really understanding. So even if we look at the Adam and Eve story, like we take these things as literal, when you look at it logically, it's obvious that it's metaphor. It's metaphor, and you have to. And what you have to do, you have to put yourself for the frame of reference when you're dealing with these things. You have to put yourself in the ancient cultures that these things come from. I mean, look, even how we get our modern alphabet, even like the reason why the letter A is the first letter in the alphabet is because the ancients viewed the cow as divine, especially the female cow. The first iterations of divinity are feminine. These are feminine. These are feminine qualities and feminine traits. So you get the Aleph, which is the alpha. This is where you get that from. The Bet, you see what I mean? Which is dang, I forgot what symbol the Bet was from. I can't remember off the top of my head. But this is how you get it. Like the first writing systems were pictographic, hieroglyphic. You know what I mean? So this is just where it comes from. Like, so even in India today, the cow is reverenced as a god or a deity. That's how you get that's how that becomes the first letter in the alphabet. That's what alphabet means. Alpha and bet, that's what it means. Bet is second alpha. Especially I be telling dudes, like, they be talking about, man, alpha, beta bucks, alpha fuck. You know, I'm the outside dude. I'm an alpha. No, you're not. By definition of the term, you're a beta because you're not the first. You're the second in command. You know what I'm saying? But this is how we bastardize these things and use them colloquially, you know what I'm saying, to reinforce just our worldview when it comes to the way we interact with each other. But yeah, that's what it is. And like I said, we're the only group of people who take these things literally. Give me 1 second.
Yes. And I give the call number again for most of that want to call in. The call number again is 712-770-4160. The access code is 915-41#. I repeat, 712-770-4160. The access code 915-41#. Tonight's subject: Jesus loves whites and looks at blacks as the devil. And what I mean by devil, literally, black people look at themselves as evil, less than, something that cannot be corrected unless God corrects it. That's how our people view each other. So, and I told y'all before, my conclusion to this is how I see how our people behave today. And that's no way around it, you know. That's why, and another thing, and people don't know this, even in Africa, they had one European, so-called white man, came to a certain part of Africa, I'm not sure it was east part of Africa, dressed up like Jesus Christ. The natives came in droves, hugging, shaking their hand, hell, having the so-called fake Christ dance with them. And when they found out it's not real Christ, they shipped this no-good ass, dusty ass, back to America or wherever he came from. But the point is this, that why would the natives act and give open arms to some being that look like Christ? Oh, I forgot. They're well indoctrinated to this religion. You know? This religion is not going to escape black people globally. That's why out of all religions besides Islam, is that Christianity is the most deadliest. Second to, you know, being a Muslim, also up there too. But because most of the world only relates to Christianity, that was a doctrine forced upon our people for centuries, you know, and probably maybe sooner before they start the slave trade, for all we know, if we want to go deeper, you know. And we all know that was a business in itself.
And the thing is, I'm just tired of hearing from niggas all this metaphysical and spiritual bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I'm a very practical person. I don't want to, you know, like you have individuals who you know, under this stay woke doctrine of disposition, you know, they can break things down to a science, you know, about energy and all this other crap. You know what I mean? But then when you look at just the condition of our people, and many times of these individuals lives, it's not in lockstep with these things that they promote and that they claim they know. You see, so I'm a very practical person. I'm going to look at the results of the doctrine you're espousing, and if the results aren't aligned with the principles of your doctrine, then I don't want to hear your doctrine. And that's all. That's all there is to it. See, I don't want you telling me about all the spiritual stuff about what's about the planets and spirituality and the Bible and all this other stuff. But then you done made a woman a single mother, or you got 2-3 kids by 2-3 different niggas. So I'm saying I don't want to hear it. I don't want to. You know all that, but you didn't know how to put a family together and keep it. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want to hear your mouth, man. That's just me. I don't want to hear it. Because when I look at the things that make up that have many of our youth and our children suffering that grow up to be traumatized adults, it stems from that. So you can tell me all this high, lofty bullshit that you can't really prove, but you couldn't even do something as basic as pair bond. You see what I'm saying? As pair bond in a way that's going to be effective. Look, my politics isn't pro-black. I'm pro-power, which means every action that I take is for the acquisition and maintenance of power. And any action that goes against that is a non-starter. It's a non-starter. Like all these different things, these are nothing but diversions and forms of escapism to stop niggas from doing what they need to be doing. Period. Yeah. And that's why, like, I don't even, you know what I'm saying? That's why, and then people, I come off as jocular or arrogant or aloof, but it's because you're full of shit. I don't want to hear it because it's not that hard. It's not that complicated to do what we need to do. We're making it more complicated because what we want to do is we want to do everything and what we need to be doing. That's all there is to it, man. And then what we want to try and have all these things acting and operating as a Band-Aid for our own failures of doing what's necessary because we lack the will, the discipline, and the impetus to do it. Yeah. You see, many of us are merely looking for the most comfortable position in this current paradigm. You see, in Christianity and these religions, facilitate a lot of that. It facilitates a lot of that, you know, and that's why I just don't be wanting to hear these individual miles, man.
One thing I like what you said, Amiri, is you don't take on a lot of things. You only take the direction where it could get us to where we be in the most protective, which is power. Right. And mind you, it never hit me about the power aspect until I read certain books, and you know books I'm talking about. And when I look at overall us as a collective, that's the only way you're going to be secure and safe. You have to be back in a power position. There's no other way around it. And a lot of men amongst our group, not a lot, but just enough, don't want to seek it. They feel seeking an individual power that's sustainable. But as we know in the society we're in, and I know I was watching another stream, I'm not going to say names, if you know what I'm talking about, that our brothers and sisters will get picked up and they're given notice. Either they are doing things that is right or wrong, or doing what is right. But they don't understand the reason why this happens is because as a group of men, we are not organized. And that's the most issue I have if I want to entertain this conversation with a lot of these Negroes. You get me? Right. We could talk about everything else that don't have nothing to do with power, but let's say we want consolidate, say, we could do necessary to put us in a somewhat position of power. That conversation is not really being discussed. Some of them are well nested that said they want their oppressor just to die off and eventually get back power. And I'm saying that's not how reality works. That's not how nature in the world works. If we really study it, they could miss me with that bullshit about what they read. But in reality, is that how things work? No. So why are you telling the youth this? Mm-hmm. That's why the youth could be put back in a box, listen to the wrong type of niggas. I said it.
Right. So I mean, even like with this organization piece, I mean, I get it to a certain extent, but then again, at the same time, I'm very practical, and that's why, like, I told Cynthia and them this, and I told these women this. You can't get these men to organize in service of the community and in service of the women and children when, as women, you're out here sexually gratifying those men whose entire worldview and disposition and behavior fly in the face of that. Because when you try and rally those same men, what those men are going to say is, man, you're a simp because you're trying to do all this for these women and children, and I'm over here not doing the bare minimum, and they fucking me anyway. So you stupid. That's the logic these men are going to use. Yeah. So that's why I told you, these women are off code. Because they're validating the wrong types of men and then wonder why they're getting an overabundance of the wrong types of men. These men are going to do what's going to get them. They're going to do what's going to get them the sexual aggrandizement. Like you don't have men paying hundreds of dollars for dating coaching because they want to organize. You see what I'm saying? These men paying all this money because they want ass. And this is what you have. These women, they will sit here and complain all day about these men. I remember Cynthia told me that. You said these men were non-committal. You said these men was this. You said these men was that. I did. And you went right there and slept with a brother who articulated everything I said. So what you want me to do? You chose him. So no matter what I tell him, he ain't going to listen to me because you're validating him. He's going to say I'm a simp. He's going to say I'm a cornball. So what you want me to do? and Dr. Wilson, and this is why all these so-called pro-black scholars on niggas on YouTube, none of them want to see me in no real debate. They ask food. You see what I'm saying? They're food, man, because Dr. Wilson said it. She made it very clear. That's why I'm saying everybody act like they don't know what we're supposed to be doing. She said it. Don't allow these men to hide out in your vagina, because that's what you got a lot of these niggas want to do. And then she also said it's up to the black women to teach their daughters that they can turn the entire destiny of the black society by only rewarding those men who are providers and protectors of the race. Yeah. So these sisters haven't been doing that. They've been doing the opposite. And because they've been doing the opposite, you now have a proliferation of men who operate opposite of that. This is why they're calling Cerulean Gray a simp. This is why they're calling Mary Brown a simp. Because they don't have to do any of that, and they're getting all the sexual gratification. So in their logic and their thinking, in their mind, you're a simp. And you can't blame them because this is the way competition works, like in the economy. If I go to a store and I be like, how much is this pack of ribs? And they tell me $100 and I pay $100, and then another brother come and say, I give you $1 for those ribs, and he get the same ribs I got for $1. I paid $100, he paid $1. I'm stupid.
Yeah, I know.
That's what the women don't understand. So y'all asses off code. Period, man. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Trying to shame these men, that ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work. Like one thing I did hear, BGS said, he said these women don't have nothing to negotiate with, and he's right. They don't have nothing to negotiate with. See, like even when they talk about this idea of the social contract, that's why I said it's a form of rape. Because what it was a horse trade between the men providing certain things and the women providing certain sexual aggrandizements and favors. This is how it has worked, especially like in the Western hemisphere. You see what I'm saying? Like this is how you get the modern formation of marriage and family. Like when they brought those women over here from Europe, these European white women, they brought those women over here in chains. They were the women were chattel too. Like the women were chattel. So these marriages and stuff that took place, it wasn't because of love and because I want to do. No, it was an arrangement. That's how it started. Like it was an arrangement. You see what I mean? It's a male-dominated society. So you're systematically cut off from these things for the most part. So I will provide you with certain resources and things of that nature if you provide me with cooking, cleaning, and the sexual favors. That's the basis. You see what I'm saying? Like that's the basic outline. Yeah. So you can't. I mean, how you gonna shame the men? Because a lot of these men like shit. I'm good. So trying to shame them ain't gonna work.
Yeah, they good, man.
I'm not even gonna sit here and act like these men don't raise a valid point when they ask what's in it for me.
Mhm. Hey, somebody in the chat room, and I wish MJ called in, but that's optional. MJ, she wrote, "What you said is all bullshit, Amiri."
Well, tell her come on and let's debate it. See what it is. These women. See what it is. A lot of these women, they've been employing a dual mating strategy where they sleep with it. They want to throw their cooch around to every time, Dick and Harry, irrespective of if this man can do what a man's supposed to do for a woman. So these women have been operating. They've been thinking with their vaginas just like they claim these men think with their penises. You see what I'm saying? But what's happening in the course of doing this, these women are getting pregnant. And now what you have is the men who would serve as the golden parachute for a lot of these women. The men like, no, we ain't doing that no more. You see what I'm saying? So now it's causing all this. It's causing all this upheaval with everybody trying to shame these men, and just like Obsidian say, into being cleanup men. Well, no, I don't believe that either. I believe you should make the right choice from the beginning. You should make the right choice from the beginning. You ain't got no. If a man is incapable of being a man, you ain't got no business laying in the bed with him. Period. I don't care what he told you. If this nigga living with his mama, if this nigga credit score is 200, if this nigga out of the last 6 years he only worked a year, and you sleep with him, that's your fault. That's your fault. You see what I'm saying? Like everybody talking about how you. I don't feel sorry for poor white people. How you fumble that white supremacy bag? Well, I don't feel sorry for poor women because how you fumble the vagina bag. That's a bag. They don't call it shake your money maker for nothing. You see what I'm saying? So if you doing all this and ain't getting nothing out to return, and you're stupid. As a woman, you're stupid because you have the most sought after resource on the goddamn planet. Period, man. So they can say what they want. A lot of these women, like Cerulean talks about these men being derelict in their masculinity, I agree. But the other problem to this is these women are derelict in their femininity. You see, and that's why if you watch them, just all you gotta do is watch them talk. But then they'll come back and be like, I finally learned to value myself. I love myself now. All that mean is I learned I shouldn't have been fucking all these sorry ass niggas. That's all that's code for. You see what I'm saying? Now I value myself. Now I deserve a knight in shining armor and a man who's really worth my time and my body. That's what they mean. You see what I'm saying? Because this is the way these kids have been socialized. This is the way they've been socialized, man.
Let me see who this is. I open your line. Who's this?
Yes, this is MJ.
Okay, you sound a little you okay, MJ?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Let me stay by my phone. Okay, wait a minute.
Okay, all right, it's your phone. Okay, let me speak. Let me see if it sounds clear.
Okay. How do I sound?
You sound good. All right, go ahead. Say your thing. I have to go back to playback at the news to see how it sounds. Go ahead.
Okay. Does it sound like I'm loud? Because
no. You sound better now. Okay, go ahead.
Say that again.
You sound better now. I think I hear you good now.
Yeah. Here's the thing, because what I don't understand is why do men, especially a lot of black men, and I don't know, it's just starting to irritate me more and more, and I see why people just get off of social media. But I don't understand why today that black men always and always get online to tear down black women. Their choices, the men they... Why isn't... Shit, I'm painting, so stuff is everywhere. But, But the thing about it is that they never talk about raising these young men to learn how to treat women. Because most women, especially young women, you're raised to assume and think that you're going to find a great man. You're not raised to think you're going to sleep with a bunch of dudes. A lot of these young men out here do not have the best interest of a female. I can speak because I'm a black woman, I'm a female, who have, dealt with a lot of guys, that did not have my best interest. Some of them want to have kids before marriage. Some of them don't want to get married. Some of them want to have 1, 2, 3 girlfriends. Sometimes they make a black woman feel like she's not good enough. And, the main goal is just to find a great guy that have our best interests. But then you get these guys that get online, and every fucking day it's about tearing women down. No one cares how she got in the situation. No one cares why this guy isn't great for her and the things he's doing to her. It's always about our choices, but they never put the responsibility on how a lot of these men or young men are being raised and how to treat women. And this is why I'm so grateful that I was able to see, great role models like my grandfather, who was married to my grandmother for over 70-plus years until he died, put her in a house, had 3 gardens, can get a new car every 4 and 5 years. My grandmother didn't have to work. So when I get online and see all the men today, it's embarrassing. Because is this what we do? We get online every day just to tear us down? I don't come from that shit, so it irritates me. And then when I listen to Amiri, it just adds up. Do you have anything positive to say or any type of advice for these young men? Do y'all care? It just seems like y'all focus. Y'all more like women. I got to deal with catty women. Now the men? And then when you say something to these men when they're wrong, they want to cuss you out, call you out your name, and be disrespectful for trying to, state a point or a fact. And I'm trying to figure out, where are we going as black people? What the fuck are we doing? And I guess for me, I'm just so fed up and I'm sick of it. It's so embarrassing. Because I came from a time where we supported one another. We talked to one another. Now I'm in a generation, when I get online every day, and now that I've added a lot of brothers, and I'm going to say this and I'll be quiet, bitch, hoe, what she smell like, what her private smell like. And everyday bitch and hoe. And these are the men, I'm serious, they show up in your inbox, hey, beautiful, how you doing today, sexy? But then when they get out of that inbox, they get out on their news feed, and it's like these bitches, these hoes. What is that? And they got all these non-black people, and I bet these non-black people just looking at us like, is this? Because I came from a great time, great childhood, little means. My mother cleaned offices for a living, and we had little means. So for us to see us today, how we treat each other, Amiri, what's your answer to it? What's the resolution?
Amiri,
Am my line open? Okay. Well, look, the basic resolution is make better choices. That's good. That goes for men and women. I understand where she's coming from to a certain extent. Look, I have 3 sons. Hold on. I have 3 sons and 3 daughters. So this is very much a binary situation for me. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like we just have to socialize boys to treat women a certain type of way and not give women a counter message to that. And the fact of the matter is that the reason why we're getting what we're getting out of brothers and sisters in the community is because this is how we're socializing them. Because at the same time that the message is being sent that black women are bitches and hoes and these different things, there's also a message in the music to the sisters telling them these niggas is thugs. The thugs are the masculine men. Get you a thug. If your status ain't hood, You see what I'm saying? Love is pain and all. So it's always a binary situation. And where the problem comes in is anytime brothers raise valid points and critiques about the decisions that sisters make, it's a problem when then they want to turn around and task brothers who played no part in their decision-making process to clean up the results of their poor decisions. So it's fine for men to police the men, but you don't want the men to police you. See? So there's this cavalier disposition from sisters when it comes to the notion or the idea of black male authority, whether that's in the form of input, whether that's in the form of setting rules and guidelines and these different things, because what it is, you have a lot of sisters who love the fact that they have been able to enjoy a certain level of autonomy as black women in American society. And when no matter what, when something went wrong, they could always point to the black man and could say, see, he just can't get right. He just wasn't shit. These niggas ain't shit. These niggas are this. These niggas are that. It's never me. I'm just a victim. I'm a double minority. I'm a victim of white patriarchy, and I'm a victim of black patriarchy. This has been the consistent theme and rhetoric that has come from sisters. So they've never had to look at themselves. See? So I very much believe in teaching brothers how to treat sisters, but I also believe in teaching sisters how to treat brothers and how to treat themselves. See, because I can go to a young boy and tell a young boy, you're supposed to do this for a woman, you're supposed to do that, you're supposed to do this, and then they're going to go right then and hop on YouTube to listening to one of these red pill dudes talking about you treat a woman like a bitch, treat a woman like a hoe, treat her like this, and then if your daughter choose him when he acting like that, then she's validating him acting like that. So what you want me to do? There's nothing I can do about it. She chose him. This isn't putting women down or anything. It's just telling the truth. These are facts. See, and what it is, the sisters want this unidirectional message being pushed to the men while they continue to just make any type of decision they want and act as free agents. And no society on the planet acts that way. None whatsoever. It's always a binary situation. There are two actors in this. It's the male and it's the female. The boys have to be given a message, and the girls have to be given a message. That will lead to cohesion and bonding between the two. That's not what we do, and that's not what sisters want. They just want you to police the men. They don't want you to police them, and that's a part of the problem. Both have to be policed.
Well, the thing about it is that, you made some valid points and stuff like that, but my thing is this. Maybe my mother did a great job at raising me, so I don't need to be policed by anyone. And I would assume it would want mothers or parents to raise their children with no one to have to police.
But that's not. But listen, that's not how the society. That's not how any society works, though.
Let me just throw this out there. Outside of the parents, shouldn't be policed by anybody but the parents. That's just my thing. I know it's not going to turn out that way. I'm just throwing that out there. You understand what I'm saying? Because my thing is this. You don't know someone's going to be an asshole until you get in that situation. You really don't. I got addicted to the ID channel. I see people all have these beautiful weddings, and they so in love, and they have these great jobs, but then they turn around and one of them killing the other, over money. Mm-hmm. You don't know that person is going to murder you because you, on the pretense, thought this was a good guy or a good woman. You don't know until you get into the situation. And then
I understand that.
And then you probably get out that situation, and then you go on to the next because you're hoping, your fingers crossed, that this was going to be a better situation. Everybody wants the best. Everybody wants 100%. But my thing, instead of pointing a finger, how do we have the conversation? Because what I hear, and maybe why it irritates me so much, because I always hear men talk about women all the time. If YouTube is now, before women got crazy with it, it was always men talking about the women all the time. I never heard them talking about men and taking responsibility for their actions. When he left my mom, years later, my father said, you know what, it was my fault. He took responsibility, whether he was an asshole or not. And that's the thing. I hear a lot of people talking, but do you ever take responsibility for the things you've done? And when you didn't treat that person right, maybe I'll be cool when I hear people having a conversation, you know what? I didn't treat these people right. I didn't treat these females right. Maybe I would like to hear some responsibility sometimes. And I'm not saying women are perfect. I'm not saying that at all. Because like I said, I was blessed to born and raised in D.C. where a lot of brothers always had my back. Black men I had brothers had my back more than brothers who didn't have my back. MJ, you talking too much. Be quiet. You're a hothead. You're going to have a heart attack, if you keep getting upset. Always gave me advice about stuff. So I wasn't used to all this disrespect because you knew. But now it just seems like it's always, no matter how many times you explain it, you always going to point your finger at that female. Nobody care about the little sister being molested or raped or beaten. Nobody care about none of that. Nobody cared that a lot of these sisters are found in trunks and stuff because they don't want to get rid of their baby. But people would talk about, abortions all the time. And maybe the sister wanted to have that baby, but then she was found in the trunk because the guy didn't want the baby. Like, people don't talk about real stuff, like real shit. And
I talk about it.
I'm not throwing it. I'm not throwing it. I'm just saying what I hear. And a lot of times people don't talk about real consequences, and they don't talk about real stuff. It's always about the women, and who we choose,
right.
and
right.
Our actions and stuff like that. Like I say, you really don't know he's going to be a butthole until you get in that relationship.
Well, let me put it like this though. Here's the thing. The part of the problem is we build relationships off of superficial values. Like, we don't have the one of the problems is we don't have family building values. Like, you got to realize you've had generations right now where children have just been undue consequences of our sexual exploits, and we tend to treat them like that. Like, there's very little family planning that takes place in our communities. Like, we just treat children as the undue consequences of our sexual exploits. This is what the whole child support debate is about. And listen, I get on these dudes all the time. I did a show a couple of weeks ago. I think I called it Blackistan on Trial, talking about how, see what it is, you have a lot of these brothers, what they want to do, they call themselves traditional, but they're not traditional. Because if you were traditional, you would get married before you have sex, because that was the tradition. You see what I'm saying? So you're not traditional. What you want as men, you want the tradition of a patriarchal double standard, where the man can be as promiscuous as he want to be, and the woman's supposed to be chaste. That's what you really want. So what you're really looking for, you're looking for a comfortable position in a society where you can have all of your sexual desires fulfilled and not have to be held to any level of accountability and culpability for the consequences of that. And like I said, like, many of these brothers aren't anti-abortion. They're anti-child support. They're not anti-abortion. They're anti-child support. And I've been saying this, pay your shit. I don't feel sorry for you. I don't. Because once upon a time in America, you call yourself traditional, but once upon a time, the tradition was if you got a woman pregnant, you married her. So as far as I'm concerned, you paying child support and then getting to go about your business, you're getting off easy. You're getting off easy than what men 100 years got. And then we wonder today why men today have less testosterone than men 100 years ago. See? So I get on their ass heavy because a lot of these dudes are full of shit. But my thing is, I can't tell these men to do things a certain type of way, and then as women, you're getting with the men who already made it clear they're not going to do things that way. They're not. Once you do that, you've killed my message, because they're not going to listen to me. Mm-hmm. They're not going to listen to me. Like I said, you don't have dudes paying hundreds of dollars, man, to like Tariq Nasheed, what it was, Mac Lessons or whatever the thing. That wasn't the best-selling book because these men want to do right by women. You know what I'm saying? These men are going to do whatever's going to get them the sexual gratification. And the fact of the matter is that the reason why your great-grandmothers and grandmothers used sex as a carrot to get the man to marry them, it's because they knew that. And unfortunately, you have women not teaching their daughters that. They teach their daughters the opposite. This notion or this idea that they can do what a man do. When it's very obvious and clear that you can't do what a man do, because if you get pregnant with the kid, you're the one left there with him. So it's just the sisters making better choices is only feasible and right in my eyes. I don't understand why it's so hard to just choose better. Just choose better.
It's not about, that's what I'm trying to explain to you, hon. It's not about choosing better. You think you are choosing better. That's the thing when you are a woman.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is that means you gotta wait. You can't see this is why I said we build relationships off of sex. The standard in today's society is have sex, then we define a relationship. So you got women who sitting here aggrandizing all this man's sexual desires and don't even know where she's staying with him. What are we? The moment you've given them the sexual access, you have nothing to bargain with, because that's what the men want.
Well, that's not exactly true either, because there's some women have one night stands and been married for 30 years.
Yeah, but you got to understand those are exceptions to the rule.
Well,
hold on, listen, see, because now you're arguing against your own point, and this is the problem I have with sisters. You're arguing against your own point. Because if the point you just raised about women who had one night stands with men that lasted 30 years was normative, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. That's an exception. The general rule of thumb is if you had that one night stand with that man, that's why it's a one night stand. That's so if they had sex on the first night and they went on to have a relationship, that's not a one night stand, sis. That's not a one night stand. That's an outlier of the situation. That's an outlier.
Don't try to make this all technical and all.
I'm just saying though, that's not a one night stand. So what I'm saying is, if sisters really want the relationship or whatever, you gotta wait. You gotta make the nigga wait. Cause see, this is what I understand. It's the reason why we talk about the most important. The first impression is the most important. So when you first meeting each other, you're not seeing the real person. You're seeing the best representation of that person. See, and this is why 30, 40, 50 years ago they would take their time. They would wait. They would get to know each other. But that's not the standard in today's society. The standard in today's society is casual dating in the interest of casual sex. And when you do that, you're running the risk of having casual consequences. That's just what it is.
Well, you know what? I'm just going to have to disagree with that, because I've been in situations where I made them wait for 3 years. So all I'm trying to say, y'all really don't get it.
Wait. MJ, you say you in a relationship and you wait for what? How long again?
3 years.
Hey, can I get in here at some point, Chaos?
No, you cannot get. Wait 1 second. MJ.
I mean, I'm trying to tell Amiri, when I was coming up, I made guys wait for 3 years. What are you talking about? That's what I'm saying. That's still an outlier. Again, that's still an outlier. So you telling me that you made this guy wait for 3 years, and he was the perfect guy. Then as soon as you gave him the ass, he went left. Or were there red flags that you just ignored because you liked them or whatever? Let me say this. I never think anyone is the perfect guy. You understand what I'm saying? If I'm attracted to him, he's attracted to me. The conversation is great. There's a good chemistry, compatibility, all that great stuff. We see what it do. If it don't, I bounce. I never in my life stayed in a position where a man didn't want me. If he didn't want to be bothered, I move on. I don't. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I've never tripped off of guys like that. If they don't want to be bothered, I go. If the relationship isn't working, I end it. I don't stay in. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to compete with anyone. If I'm not that special one, if I'm not that one, please, by all means, find that young lady that fits all the qualities or possesses all the qualities you're looking for in a female. Because sometimes men don't like the fact I don't have kids. They don't like my independence. A lot of people got a problem with it. I can't worry about that. I know I'm a good person. I know I got a good heart.
So, but I'm saying, but you the one raised that situation like he was a messed up guy. I mean, if the relationship didn't work for other reasons, well, it just didn't work for other reasons. That's not what we're talking about here.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying, and it ends. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying. I just think every female situation is different. That's all I'm saying. And you guys, and you keep saying, and maybe this was irritating me because you keep talking about choose better.
Yes, choose better.
What's better out here? What the fuck is better?
You got to choose better. I mean, I don't know what the dating criteria is, but it's obvious whatever dating criteria sisters are using, it's a problem because y'all the ones who complaining about the results, not me. So it's not unreasonable for me to tell a woman choose better when she's complaining about her dating choices. To me that's just logical.
Well, I'm not complaining, but
I'm saying sisters in general. They complain about they're complaining about the men that they're sleeping with. So why?
I mean, because well, maybe they complaining because they will hope. You always have hope and want somebody to have your best interest. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like y'all condemn women for liking a guy, and then when he do her over or mess her over, she gets attacked. Well, choose better. Well, shit, I thought I had better. And then men all this stuff at us, and then when we do, be a ride or die chick. Then the sister's gonna go out there and be a ride or die. That don't work.
Let me tell you. Yeah, let me tell you. See. When the moment a guy start talking about, maybe I need to do a video for red flags for sisters, because the moment this nigga start talking about ride or die, that lets you know he's weak. He's a weak man. You know what I'm saying? He's a weak man, because no real man is going to be asking a woman to sacrifice her life to be with him. This is a weak male, and you have a lot of males who that's a part of our culture, a part of black culture, unfortunately, especially in we do push those things on women. I don't. I say the opposite, and because I say the opposite, the men call me a simp, and the women call me misogynistic. You know what I'm saying? See, I'm the only misogynistic simp on the planet from these individuals' perspective. And what that really lets me know is that you have individuals who want to continue to engage in their behavior because it's pleasurable, but they don't want to take accountability for the consequences. To me, that's what a lot of it looks and sounds like. But I agree with you. If a man talking about he need to ride or die, you need to leave him right where he's at. That means he's weak.
No, what I'm just saying is that a lot of men are famous for throwing out standards, what they're looking for a woman. And that woman's going to try to fit that standard. And then when she try to fit that standard, then, I want a sister with natural hair. Oh, great, I've got natural hair. I was perm first, but I'll go natural because I'm digging it. Then she go natural, then, you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm just so sick of all these what you need to do to get this type of guy, and then sometimes it just don't work out, and guys always talking. I don't know, y'all insane. Not you, Amiri, but I'm just saying men are insane. I'm just,
No, man, we're simple, MJ. It's like, you have to sit there, nothing's going to be easy, just like, you just pick the right one or you have to go for a couple of them. It's work, and the best way to determine if you got that actual one that you can rock with is how much one he's going to put in work in this relationship. If he's not putting the same amount of energy you put in that relationship, that shows where it stands, and you need to move on. So that's simple as that. Now, MJ, I got more people on the line. You can stay on the line. Open line.
Training, but thanks, Gary, and thanks, Gary.
Yep, respect.
Okay.
Number 4, open your line. Who's this?
What's going on, Gary?
All right. Mama's boy.
You get a show. Let Mama's boy go.
Well, yeah, now calling. I'm going to wrap this up a little bit. Mama's boy, what's on your mind?
No, man, I chime in like that because you don't know I'm on the line.
Well, I take it you heard my little. I
can't press *61. You know what I'm saying? Because how I come in.
All right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, I just you gotta have. If you're gonna, this is just my perspective. But if you're gonna tell anybody any human being a direction, you got to do it with both perspectives. You have to. Or you giving somebody biased fucking advice. If you don't take on both perspectives in your decision making to tell somebody a direction to go in, you leading them in the wrong direction. So my perspective is there's no way a guy can have a female perspective so he can weigh both to tell a female what she should do. Now, a guy can do that for a guy because he's got a mind, and he knows that man can't be no woman either. So he can tell him, hey, y'all, we do the same shit. Yeah, we stand up when we use the restroom, all that kind of shit. We have a lot of similarities, so you might understand. You might not agree, but you'll understand because you're a guy. But for a guy to go to a different gender, who there's no way in hell I can identify with that gender. I can't. I don't start menstruating at 10. I don't have to deal with the first day of finding out you menstruating and you get embarrassed at school. I can't live that life. I can't go through that fucking thought process that will cause me to pick the type of guy I pick. Because it all weighs into somebody growing up, what they deal with, experiences, lies, and bullshit leads them to pick a dude. And you can't motherfucking, not one guy can motherfucking identify with that. Okay, so I don't even understand the aspect of trying to tell someone of a different gender what they should do. You could tell someone of a gender what you would accept, and then they make the decision. But to try to direct them and tell them how to make the choice when you don't know how to tell them to make the choice, it sounds a tad bit, it's a little tough for the person that you're imposing this upon. They really don't have a direction to go in because you didn't give them a clear answer. That's my thought process. So I think if you're going to go and issue any direction to a child, a grown-up, a man, or woman, if you do not take on all perspectives before you issue that directive, you are failing them. Peace, family.
All right, respect, my boy. Thank you. Mary, you still there?
Let me respond to that. There was some truth in that, but I think overall, he's making it more complicated than what it is. This is all about socialization. And if you want to know how these girls are being socialized, all you have to do is look at the societal cues, the cues that come from society. When the song is with G-Eazy and Nicki Minaj, fuck them and I get some money, fuck them and I get some money, it's not hard for me to understand what the young girls are going to be doing. You see what I'm saying? Stop making this shit complicated. See, and what it is, then MJ went back in the chat room talking about that was old-fashioned. Yeah, the old-fashioned people, they didn't have it wrong. They knew, see, your grandmother and them didn't have this problem. See, they wasn't sitting there complaining about the men they chose because they did things the right way. You've been sold these new age modern tropes, and it's not working for you, honey. And that's what see what it is. Like I said, these women, they don't want to have to live up to those old-fashioned stipulations while they try and pretend like that's how they're being socialized. When they're not being socialized like that, these women are being socialized to behave like men have traditionally behaved sexually. When you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't operate the way men have traditionally operated when it comes to the sexual politics, and then want to talk about you're the prize. And this is what you have a lot of women doing. See, like when the sister came on, she's talking about teach these young boys how to treat women. What are you going to treat your daughters how to number one, how to pick men and then treat men? See, so you want to have a situation where all the value is placed on you as just because you're a woman, when a lot of these sisters not even living up to those traditional values of what womanhood meant and typified in American society. See, that's what I'm saying. These women want it both ways, and then this is what you have, and this is why like I said this: competing interests exist over competing privileges. Privilege is not monopolized in a society. privilege is omnipresent and omnidirectional. See, and so what you have is you have men who want a double standard, and you have women who want a double standard. This is basically the basis of this whole gender war, and these Negroes with their dysfunctional bullshit. And then that time Taz got mad when I said on another panel, I'm telling my kids, my sons, don't deal with these American black women. They won't get mad. You see what I'm saying? I don't care if you get mad. See, because when I had my children, I wasn't thinking, good, my son Elijah can be the stepdaddy to Shaniqua with her 4 fucking kids from 4 different men. You see what I'm saying? I wasn't thinking that. And when I had my baby girl Ziana, I wasn't thinking, good, my baby girl Ziana, she can be the ride or die chick for Lil Don Aquarius. Fuck out of here, man. These niggas need to get their shit together. Then they want to get mad. And I don't care if you get mad. Do shit the right fucking way and do what works. See, like I said, my politics is pro-power. And anything and any action that is not in the acquisition and maintenance of power is a non-starter. It's not complicated on what you need to do. But what it is, you want your pleasure, and you don't want the consequences that come with it, because these Negroes are Americanized. The bottom line is, much of what we talk about in the sphere of black YouTube and this gender war and all this stuff is first world problems, First Nation problems. So the American Negro suffers from affluenza. Like, if you listen to how these Negroes talk, how their conceptualizations about gender, what it really conveys and indicates is that black people have not had the duty and the responsibility of legislating power. See, they haven't had that, so they don't even understand what it is to govern a society. That's why I said, can you imagine these Negroes today? If there was a black nation, that shit would be the most rearward nation on the planet. There would be no rule of law. Women would be relegated as second-class citizens. Anytime Pookie and Ray Ray did something they had no fucking business, they'd get a goddamn they'd get a record deal, because nobody want to see these niggas go to jail when they do shit they ain't got no fucking business. You see what I'm saying? So what it shows is they haven't had to govern anything. And Nearly Fuller talks about this. The black man and the black woman in America and the system of white supremacy, these are children. And this is how these niggas operate. This is how they operate, man. Mm-hmm. This is not complicated. You see what I'm saying? You make it complicated when you don't want to do what needs to be done, because the moral, ethical compass of the American Negro is toilet water. So they can't even negotiate. They can't negotiate the American apparatus to navigate themselves to anything akin to liberation, but always talking about liberation and revolution. These things exist as a platitude in these niggas' lexicon. They be damned if they know what it looked like when they've achieved it. So they don't know what they just throwing words out there. They don't even know what it means, what it looks like, what it is. Revolution. We need revolution, liberation for my people. You see what I'm saying? But have no idea what that really looks like or what that really means. Y'all asses down. I'm tired of niggas.
All right. I mean, open the next line. 2 lines.
Hold up, Gary. Guess what? He was going to let me up in there.
My name is Big J.
Dropping off. So I got open lines. Who's this?
Big J.
Stay right there. Open the line. Who's this? Open
Hello?
the line. Yes, who's this?
This is Sarge.
Stay right there, Sarge. Open one more line. I open that line. Who's this?
Yeah, fact.
All right. Jay, you there?
Yeah.
No. Which one are you talking about?
Go ahead. Speak your what you about to say? Go ahead, Jay.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, I think that in regards to like women picking men and men picking women, you know, in the beginning, everybody puts, you know, the good face. In the very beginning, like they say, everything is all good. I think, you know, I would say that, you know, sometimes people get into an intimate relationship, you know, early, whether it be a month or months. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. You know, people get married, people get divorced. It varies, man. you know, you could give advice. You know, that's the you can, you know, that everybody has the right, and also, you know, to give an advice and say, you know, oh well, it should be done this way. But ultimately, the people are going to come out the way they are. Like, you could raise a child to be a certain way, and it might not come out that way. Like the brother said that. He said, you know, that the people are giving him slack for saying not to marry African American woman, right, or American woman. But at the end of the day, you could tell them don't do that, and they might not listen to you, you know, because they're gonna have their own decisions and stuff. So, I mean, the best thing that we can all do is try to give advice, and you know, but everybody's going to live their own life ultimately, and they got to deal with the consequences. And one last thing, when you said that our grandparents wasn't dealing with that, our grandparents were dealing with that. It might not be on the scale that you now, you know, or at least as public as it is now with everything with the internet and shit like that. But you know, we had grandparents that, you know, had families. You know, more than the you know, their own one family, then they end up, you know, with another woman. And you also have families that, grandparents that were there and they had many kids. That was another thing they talked about, you know, all these women having children now. Grandparents, great-grandparents was having 5 and better, you know, and that's just the way it was. So I think that things always, you know, come 360 degrees. Some of the shit that we say is not happening or wasn't happening back then has happened. I think it's more public, and you might have a more influence, but at the end of the day, people are going to do what they're going to do. So I'll leave it there.
Okay. Let me open one more line. I don't know if this is Rick. Rick? Well, open your line. Who else wants to speak?
I would. You know, your idea.
Hey, can y'all hear me now?
Come on, Rick. Get the hell out the way, Rick. Get the hell out the way, Rick. Rick hit you with that delay, man. Now, hold on. Now, your worldview is very, let's say, archaic, and your worldview is very, let's just say, misguided. Because you act like that the family structure was all good and decent during the times of our grandparents. And that's why last week, I told you, Amir, last week, that do you know any 80-year-olds or 90-year-olds? You said no. So because if you did, Amiri, they would have told you how fucked shit things up was back then. You know, you got one man having 2 free families across county lines. You have that black church abusing people, and and let's go back to that, Amiri, because you went ahead and you shouted.
Make it quick, Big J. Make it quick. My patience is low tonight, brother. Make it quick, cause I'm really trying to destroy your falsehoods. Hurry up.
Don't
make
do
it
that.
quick.
Don't
make
do that.
It quick.
Don't do that.
Make it
I'm
quick,
gonna tell like
Big
how
J.
it is. I'm gonna tell how it was. See, you won't do that to JNYC, but you did it to me because you're scared of what I'm about to tell you. Because I know you, Mary. I know you for over a year, Mary. I know you for over 18 months. See, you're scared of what I'm about to tell you. Now, the thing is, Mary, you took one book and you run with it. And if you actually understand how culture was back then, that was based upon necessity, not it was based upon necessity need. So that's something what you don't seem to grasp on. And also, I'm gonna say this too while we have this conversation. You need to start doing some more research before you coming online and saying things that you've been saying, because you only know half of the story. You don't know the whole story. So
are you
my
finished?
suggestion to you, no, don't do that. My
Hurry up.
Nigga, I'm a grown ass man. Me, you are about the same age, Mary. I'm a grown ass man. You don't tell me what to do. I tell you what to do.
Hurry
you don't tell
up,
me what to
man.
do. All right?
You wasting time.
Man,
Hurry up.
Oh, right. Hold on. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll do it. Mary, you need to grow up and stop acting like a petulant child on YouTube with these facts, with these redundant facts that does not fit the actual reality of what had happened. What you need to do is sit there and suck my dick. You need to sit there and suck the shaft, the vein, and the head, and you
All right.
What type? Okay. All right, hold on. Let me destroy Big J. See, and what a lot of these guys gonna realize if in real debates y'all ass is food. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna give these Negroes a source. The name of this book is called Bound in Wedlock: Slave and Free Black Marriage in the 19th Century by author T.R.S Hunter. Read that and then get back to me, nigga.
Can you tell me something about the author?
Hold on.
Can you tell me something about the author?
Hold on.
Well, damn,
Big J,
you put the information out there. Just asking you a question.
I'm addressing Big J. I don't want to lose my train of thought.
Okay.
Big J mentioned talking about my view is archaic. Well, it's the reason why the marriage rate back then was the reverse of what it is today. Like I understand, I know these niggas gonna view my worldview as archaic. I know that, but the reason why my worldview is what it is because I know that's what works. Now, no one ever excluded human behavior or the possibilities for infidelity or a lot of the things we see now. The point is, those things were not as prevalent then as it is now. That's why you're calling my view archaic. So, for example, we know what the murder rates are today. But back then, the murder rates weren't that. It doesn't mean murder didn't exist. It just wasn't at the levels it's at now. Same thing with the STDs. Same thing with these single mothers. So all these pathologies that everybody talks about, they claim they want to fix and they want to get rid of. We know what the answers are. Like I said, the moral ethical compass of these Negroes is in the toilet because these Negroes are Americanized and they suffer from affluenza. That's just what it is. Now, as far as the author, T.R.S Hunter, she's a historian. So get that book, read that book, and tell me what you think about it.
Can you spell her name? Can you spell her name?
Sure. It's T.R.S Hunter.
Can I get my little synopsis out right quick? It's gonna be real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been listening on a lot of different channels about this spooky Ray, this non-select, and all that shit.
I got my TV.
So, what I've come up with is this ain't got nothing to do with culture.
Yeah.
What it got to do with is
it's on T.R.S.
This whole argument is nothing but jealousy. Niggas mad because another nigga got. That's what it's about.
You ain't even listening, Rick.
I mean, shit, it's T.R.S, man. Look up T.R.S.
That's all it is. Because if you cared about a black community, you wouldn't worry about what the kids about. You'll just go ahead and raise the kid or help with the kid. It's just, and every time if you listen, every time they talk about the woman who she gave it to, they say you should have did better. Pookie Ray. It's always somebody, you know what I'm saying? They don't know going out this dude or that dude. So it ain't nothing but some jealousy, man. They mad because they didn't get the pussy. And I'm through.
Tommy Davidson ain't listening to you.
Well, that's what it is.
Anytime one of you clowns want to come on my channel and have a nice civil debate and get this work, let me know. That's all you got to do. See, I don't have to depend on the white man laws to have a family like a lot of these kangs I know. Why they sitting here pretending like they want to do what's right, making excuses, just like to really and say nesting like a bunch of women.
Well, I think a lot of your argument is based off a patriarchal setup, so it's flawed from the beginning.
Well, no, it's not flawed in the beginning because we live in a patriarchal world, and see, common sense would dictate that our women should want to be under a black patriarchy, because since it's a patriarchal world, if you're not under the patriarchy of your men, you're going to be under the patriarchy of another group of men. So come up with a better talking point. Come up with a better talking point, son. Come up with a better talking point. It's a man's world, is it not? Is it not a man's world?
And see what it is. Hold on a second. He don't want to listen to me. He won't let me speak. You gotta let me speak if you're gonna ask me a question.
Hold on, because you the one brought up patriarchy.
Wait a minute, brother. Wait a minute. Yes, you did. You just asked me that question. Y'all gonna get this work.
Is it a man's world?
Question, brother.
Is it a man's world?
It's not.
So it's not a man's world?
No.
Okay, so Asia isn't dominated by men.
Do you have a belly button?
No, let me ask you a question. Is Asia dominated by men, yes or no?
Do you have a belly button?
Answer the question. Is Asia dominated by men, yes or no?
I'm not talking about Asia.
Well, you said. Hold on, because you mentioned patriarchy. Well, we know that patriarchy is the paradigm on the planet. Patriarchy isn't just in America. So is Asia dominated by men? Yes or no?
But if you're gonna ask me a question like that, then I'm gonna ask you the same question. Do you have a belly button? I know you think you're smarter than me. You don't like niggas. You don't like niggas, so remember that.
Hold on, brother. We're not talking about anatomy. We're talking about social systems.
You talking about a social system. You asked me a question, I answered it. You just don't like my answer.
You don't answer a question with another question.
You don't agree with my answer. Just say you don't agree with my answer. You ain't got to get all hot and bothered and yelling at me about it.
I'm not even yelling.
You just don't like my answer. Say you don't agree with my answer and move on. That's what an educated ass nigga would do.
No, we're not going to move on. You mentioned patriarchy. Patriarchy is a social system.
You live in a patriarchal society, bro. You live in a patriarchal society.
Exactly. So what that means is
that doesn't mean it's a man's world. Hold on, let me finish. That means that means that the world puts the man first, but that doesn't mean the world consists of manhood only. It doesn't. And you have a belly button to prove that.
Listen. When they say it's a man's world, that's a colloquialism for patriarchy.
Don't talk to me in no colloquial term. We niggas, dog. We niggas. Don't talk to me in no colloquial term.
That's a colloquialism for patriarchy.
I don't speak in colloquial terms,
That's a colloquialism for patriarchy.
I don't speak like that, dog. I'm telling you, I know and you know. I know and you know. Listen, I know and you know, based off religion, that we live in a patriarchal society. So that puts the man first. He sits at the front of the table. He goes to work while the woman stays home. That's always been the standard since Catholics took over every fucking thing.
That's
and you
not
already
even,
understand that, dog.
Hold on.
You already understand that. If you even take a step back, and I'm not educated. I'm a nigga off the streets. But if you just even step back to ancient society, right, prior to the Caucasian coming into Africa, you'll understand that women and men were ruling. A man will be ruling on one side, and the woman will be ruling on the other. So that matriarchal society was working in Africa. But it only switches to a patriarchal society when you introduce religion into the world.
Okay, that's what you're saying is factually inaccurate.
Man, whatever, nigga.
Hold on. Let me finish. Let me talk.
Whatever, nigga. Prove it.
I let you talk. I'm about to prove it. If you be quiet, I'm about to prove it, because patriarchy is synonymous with fatherhood, and what you just inaccurately described as a matriarchy in Africa was actually matrifocal and matrilineal tribal setups that did not preclude patriarchy. They just didn't have a term for it to call it patriarchy. So when we talk about patriarchy, we're talking about a European conceptualization of male domination. That's it. So just because those tribes were matrilineal and matriarchal doesn't preclude male domination, because females cannot operate and survive in an environment if men aren't doing what they're supposed to do. And when men do what they're supposed to do, that space is going to automatically be male dominated, because men oppose environment. So what you're saying is inaccurate. Period. Has nothing to do with religion.
You didn't prove it was inaccurate.
This is
you
anthropological, brother. This is anthropological, brother.
You didn't prove you even used the word matrilineal.
Okay,
so
well,
it was a matriarchal society, and it had been working because it worked for thousands and thousands of years. But you can't even get into 2,000 years of patriarchal thinking, and the shit is about to fall fucking apart, bro. Come on, dog. You know better than that.
Listen. When
you know better than that.
No,
that's the reason why your argument don't work on everybody, because if you're speaking from a patriarchal sense, and when you start speaking from a matriarchal sense, it doesn't match. It doesn't even work.
Let me tell you something.
You can't even argue for a woman because you're thinking from a patriarchal. You're thinking from a patriarchal standard, bro.
Let me tell you something.
From a Christian standard. You do know that, though, right?
I didn't mention Christianity.
You
this has nothing to do with. This has okay. Well, let me ask you something.
The minute you take on a patriarchal mindset, you're Christian.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me ask you something.
You're religious. The minute you do that, you're religious, bro.
Okay, well, let me ask you something.
But I'm just a nigga off the street, though.
Hold on. You think you're making sense, but you're not. If you be quiet, let me ask you a question.
Stumbling.
Okay, yeah, because you won't let me talk. I'm gonna ask you one very simple question, and it just requires a simple answer.
Well, you might think it does.
Okay, hold on.
But we know how you think now.
Okay, hold on. The WNBA. The WNBA is what? What is the Women's National Basketball Association? Is that not a matriarchy?
Well, you said WNBA.
WNBA, is that not a matriarchy?
But then you said Women's National Basketball Association. You don't confuse me with that.
Just answer the question. If you're confused by that, then we don't need to be having this discussion because you ain't ready.
But if you're talking about the Women's Basketball League, it's actually ran by a patriarch. So
exactly.
It's actually patriarchal just by its makeup. So you can't use just because women are playing in it. It's not matriarchal at all.
Women don't oppose environment. Women do not oppose environment.
Listen,
women
brother,
don't oppose environment.
If you want to get my
Negroes like you don't want to do what Nick's supposed to do. You want to nest, and you want the women to do your job.
Hold on, brother.
That's what it is.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. I mean,
y'all dudes are clowns, man.
You're going wild. You don't even know
I'm
me,
going
dog.
wild. Okay.
You better talk to Chaos before you start talking that shit.
I know from your rhetoric
you right on who the fuck I am.
I know from your rhetoric.
All you little misgivings, and I'm being nice, bro.
I know from your rhetoric.
So you don't even know my rhetoric.
I know
nigga.
from
You
your
don't
rhetoric.
even understand what you listen to.
I know from your rhetoric.
You confused.
I know from your rhetoric.
You going off of what you think, bro. You going off what you think. You don't even know. And you can't admit that you don't know. You just want to keep trying to throw shit into the wall and see if it sticks. Stop, my brother. Stop. Just cut that out.
I deal with T.R.S all the time. I know y'all niggas, man.
Testosterone shit. Let's just have a discussion about this topic, man.
It ain't got nothing to do with that. You won't even.
So just leave them funny words.
You won't even let me talk,
bro, because I ain't even went there with you. I'm just speaking.
You're just not. You're not that intelligent, my dude. I say that respectfully.
You calling for me to strip you naked out here like the butt naked ass slave master's little pet that you are.
Do it. You don't know what you're talking about.
Dog. You don't know what you're talking about. Ass nigga, ain't you?
You don't know what you're talking about.
You one of them highly educated, I think I'm better than street niggas, ain't you? Bitch nigga. Ho nigga. Because you can't walk the streets. That's why you jealous of niggas like me. You can't walk the streets.
I think I'm better than...
Man, this nigga don't disrespect me like that when I'm being respectful.
What, you gonna go grab your gun?
Tommy, listen.
No, I'm talking about your whole ass. And I'm talking about the way you walk around with a leash around your neck.
You gonna go grab your gun?
Bitch ass nigga.
You gonna go grab your gun?
You boule bitch.
You're gonna go grab your gun?
I'm gonna grab your throat with these words, you bitch nigga. You gonna find the cracker and spit that shit to him. You gonna tell the white man's woman what you trying to tell the black woman, because she don't need to hear your rhetoric, your whole ass rhetoric.
How many kids you got out of wedlock?
Because you can't stand up and be a man.
How many kids you got out of wedlock?
How to do what you want, because you too slow to catch up.
How many kids you got out of wedlock? You don't understand that the black woman got us through everything since we've been over here.
Everything.
You didn't understand that when the white man was sticking his dick in your ass and buck breaking your bitch ass. You so wanted the black woman to back you up then, didn't you? You hoe ass nigga.
I compete.
You fake ass nigga. You probably was one of them bitch ass niggas selling us to the cracker.
Let me tell you something.
Us to the cracker. That's why you think you could tell the black woman what to do, because you was selling her to the cracker. You fake nigga. Get the fuck out of here. You ain't trying to start no revolution, nigga. You a fake ass nigga. The white man sent you over here. The white man sent you over here, you fake nigga.
Define revolution.
Ass nigga.
Okay, hold on.
Nigga, define your bitch ass. That's what you define. Define why you so bitch.
Tell me what the revolution look like.
What white man fuck
That's all I need you to do.
Ass, nigga. Fake nigga.
That's all I need you to. That's all I need you to do. You're so masculine and scary.
You down.
That credit score 000 though.
Mary. This is what I'm gonna do. Cause this is getting a little hectic, and you know.
Hold on, Cass. Let me address these clowns. See, those Negroes like that. These are the men that operate in these communities, turning them into dumpster fires. Then they want to tell everybody, we got to do this for the community, we got to do that for the community. What these dudes want, they want the women to be doing what they're supposed to be doing. That's why they talking that matriarchal, fake, pro-black conscious bullshit. The nigga don't know what he's talking about. He doesn't understand the definition of a matriarchal. He's sitting here conflating matrilineal and matrifocal with matriarchy, when matrilineal denotes and connotates something that's not a hierarchy. That's why it's matrilineal, meaning it's horizontal. Hierarchies are vertical. So his entire thesis and premise is toilet water. This is niggas tossing words out there with that fake hotep shit, and then these be the same types of men creating single mothers, creating broken homes, doing shit in the street, fucking up the community, getting little kids shot, turning the community into a dumpster fire, then want to blame it all on the white man and don't want to take accountability as men. These Negroes are weak. And then what happen, these same silly ass women will validate a nigga like that and then say and then use this Negro's weakness and dysfunction to disqualify someone like me, who is the antithesis of every problem of every Negro they complain about that's causing these problems. So fuck these niggas with their bullshit.
Everybody knows my story on this line. Everybody knows my story on this line. And everything you said don't match, bro. Everybody knows my story on this line, bro.
You weak, man. You need to go read some
out the side of your ass right now.
Put that fake hotep shit down.
Dog. If you talk behind him.
Mary. All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna end tonight's session, and we're gonna open the next session. I think everybody was calling.
See, he don't want me telling these women. See, men, hold on. Men like that, they get pissed off when you tell these women choose better. Because if these women choose better, they ain't choosing them. Because these niggas are the problem. They're part of the problem. So they don't want the women choosing better. They want the women sexually validating them with their weak asses.
Fake ass niggas.
Y'all weak as hell. Nobody scared of y'all street dudes. Y'all.
Tommy Davidson, they want to talk to you, man.
Oh, guys, I got this. Thanks everybody for listening to tonight's session. Tune in for the next broadcast.
Thanks, Chaos.
We'll continue next time. See y'all later. Take care. Good night.
Peace.
Comment, subscribe, and like the video. And to ask questions or leave comments or any ideas, find me on Twitter, ChaosReign7. Thank you for listening.
Jesus Christ is here.
Introducing the Jesus Christ action figure with walk-on water action.
Fuck Jesus. Fuck Jesus. Fuck Jesus. Those of you who continue to hold on to Jesus or Yeshua, a fictional cartoon character who never existed, felt fear in your heart and spine when you heard fuck Jesus. This shows the depth of your enslavement. An English word attached to a fictional character struck fear inside of you. You still have a deeply seated insane endearment to a fake God. Make-believe cartoon character that was manufactured by the whites and their offspring, our enemies. A character that was and is designed by our enemies to control our spirit, our very thinking, our intentions, and our actions. Obviously, based on your automatic negative and cowardly reaction, your spirit continues to be controlled, to be dominated by the whites and their offspring to the point that your physiological processes are affected, your heart sunk and fluttered because of your insane belief in this fake character I cursed. Some of you who claim to be black nationalists and revolutionaries were scared when you heard fuck Jesus, fuck Yeshua. You claim to have rejected this fictional character in public, but inside you shake and shiver at the thought of this character being cursed. You still fear this cartoon character. Some of you are foolishly offended. Would you be offended if I said fuck Santa Claus, fuck the Tooth Fairy? No, because you don't believe in Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy, but you believe in the make-believe character Jesus, a character that is just as fake and absolutely no different than Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy. Some of you foolishly believe that it is disrespectful to curse a make-believe character. You're hurt, you're dismayed, you're in pain. Wake up. Stop being goddess-damned and God-damned willing slaves, unconsciously perpetuating your own spiritual and cultural enslavement. Jesus never existed. Yeshua never existed. Esau never existed. Yeshua ben Pandera never existed. The mention of the name Jesus or Yeshua or Esau as though this character is real is what should make every Afurakani, Afurai Kaitni individual feel disrespected. Jesus, Yeshua, or Esau are not real. These creatures are the result of the Achiwadye folk, the whites and their offspring, spirits of disorder, taking perverted fragments of writings and practices from Afurakanu, Afurai Kaitnu, in ancient Knesset and Kemet, ancient Nubia and Egypt, and applying these perverted fragments of our culture to sculptures of white males. These white male sculptures were then presented to us as symbols of God. When some of us rejected the white male statues of this fake God, black and brown statues were made of this fake God. Yet even though the black and brown statues were made of the fake God, they were and are still statues of a fake God. Those of you who believe that Jesus or Yeshua was black are equally as insane as those who believe this character was white. You are just as foolish as one who would reject the personhood and idea of Santa Claus, yet who would embrace Santa Claus as real as soon as white people manufactured a black Santa Claus statue. The time has come for you to take responsibility for yourselves as adults and stop behaving as gullible children. Study your ancestral culture and embrace Nokwade, embrace truth, and reject the lies. Fuck Allah, fuck Muhammad, fuck Bilal. None of these characters existed. They are fictional. You willing slaves who believe that you are enlightened because you believe in a manufactured Arabian character, a fake Arabian god, and a mythical Ethiopian slave are just as insane and hypocritical as you recognize the so-called black Christians to be. As so-called Muslims, your spirits are just as enslaved, for you believe in these characters for one reason and one reason alone. White people told you to believe in them. Period. You are ready, like the willing slaves you are, to risk your life and give your life to defend a make-believe Arabian cartoon character called Muhammad, sold to you as a prophet, and a make-believe Arab god called Allah, who is non-existent. Pseudo-black nationalists, foolishly calling themselves Moors, Sufis, and others, claim allegiance to a mythical character named Bilal, not realizing that the whites stuck this character into their myth in order to brainwash immature blacks to embrace the fake religion of Islam. Study your ancestral culture and embrace Noquadi. Embrace truth and reject the lies. Fuck Yahweh. Fuck Jehovah. Fuck Jah. Fuck Moses. Fuck Abraham. Fuck Jacob. All of these characters are fictional. Enslaved Afurakanu, Afurai Kaitu, search through pages and pages of perverse writings, believing that they are divinely revealed scriptures in order to establish an identity for yourself that is non-existent. You are not Hebrews. There is no such thing as a Hebrew. There was no such individual as Eber. There was no Exodus. You have enshrined within your consciousness the most ridiculous of lies, a cultural identity that never existed. You are so enslaved that you would consider this reality to be blasphemous. You are so blind that you do not realize that it is impossible for a non-existent character and a make-believe God to be blasphemed. Fuck David. Fuck Solomon. Fuck Sheba. Fuck Menelik. These characters are fictional. The Achiwadiewo, the whites and their offspring marveled at the fact that enslaved Afurakani, Afurai Taiki people go out of their way to identify with anyone and anything else but Afurakani, Afurai Taiki people. All the Achiwadiewo need to do is to present you with fictional characters, and you will attempt to trace your bloodline back to these fictional characters. Wake up. Would you attempt to trace your bloodline